17 days until the National Football League's draft. I mean, come Thursday, we'll be 2 weeks out from the draft. And I don't know, depending on what they do at 23, I'm talking Eagles. Will they find a player down there? Maybe, depending on how the draft rolls. Are there a bunch of sandbox guys in this draft? Probably not. There's like 9 players in this draft that could probably change a team's fortune. John Campbell didn't change the team's fortunes like Q and Cooper DeJean did. Now, again, Cooper was taken in the second round, and he changed the team along with Q. So very few times, though, like a year ago, the Eagle draft was pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't say it was exceptional. It was pretty decent. Still scrambling, trying to find something to bitch about. Not even going to get to his Cliff Notes. Bro, always prepare, Junior. Oh, and by the way, we love it when other people, validate our comments. And we're going to do that again here in a minute. I'm just talking again at the open here, scrambling. One thing you'll never have to worry about, Marsh. In my 35 years plus broadcasting, scrambling is something that's not ever brought up, like your boy when he runs into walls and scrambling. Scrambling and broadcasting, for me, that ain't happening. We don't ever scramble, and nor have we ever scrambled in broadcasting. Hit the like button. Appreciate you guys a lot. Okay? That's right. Hey, Maniac, what I really like all the time is that, you get people in here that make those kind of comments. No. You want to know scrambling? You go listen to those other places. That's scrambling. All right. Like button and super chats go to the top. We appreciate you, Marsh, doing that. I first and foremost want to start this bad puppy out with a guy who's going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't think he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But what I do think is he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think 4th all-time in NFL history in tackles. Let me read you Levante David, the retiring Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker. Quote, Levante David, when playing the Eagles, we tried to make Jalen Hurts beat us. Eagles quarterback, and I'm reading from the article here. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts has a record of 57-25 in regular season games and 6-4 in playoff games. However, against the Bucs, Hurts is 2-4. Former Buccaneer linebacker Levante David appeared recently on The Arena, explained that the Buccaneers' approach to playing defense against the Eagles with Hurts at the helm. David said that focus stopping the run and forcing Hurts and the Eagles to beat them was in the passing game. Our whole game plan was to just give him the different looks, David said. It was one year when we beat him in the playoffs. We was playing cover 0, cover 1, and cover 0 made him want to beat us. And he had to try to beat us. We knew he couldn't do it. In 2003, the game prior to that, they had a great run game. They ran the ball all over us. So our game plan for the playoffs was just like, you're going to make Jalen Hurts beat us. He can't. You're going to keep him in the pocket, make him make his reads, and make him understand what defense he's seeing and stuff like that, and make him beat us. David reasoned that the Eagles didn't ask Hurts to do much in the passing game. Some may say Hurts is one who wanted to keep it simple. Still, the revolving door coordinators, everybody knows in the league, according to Levante David, one of the best linebackers in the recent generation, said that the Eagles' passing game is very limited and that the quarterback is very limited. I mean, now what you're getting is you're getting star players saying it. And I think that's valid criticism. And this is why you're changing. I mean, you now have players coming out and saying they're not very good in their passing game. And that the quarterback is not very good at reading defenses. This is all shit that we've been saying for 5 years. And now you have a player, by the way, he doesn't have great success against the Buccaneers because here's his numbers. Here's Jalen Hurts against the Bucs. Okay? And this is just in recent. And 10-14-21. He was 12 of 26 for 115 yards at 46% completion. On 12-26-23, he was 23 of 37 for 277, a touchdown and a pick, and 62% completion. In 9-29-24, he was 18 of 30 for 158 yards, a touchdown, and 60% completion. And this past season, 9-28 or 9-28-25, he was 15 of 24 for 120 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 60% completion percentage. There's no question. The Buccaneers stymied the guy. I mean, when's the final mock draft? Also, I'm 90% sure 23 is a trench pick. We do that right the week of the draft, so another 2 weeks we got. Players, a single player. You also have Tom Brady, who praises the kid. I've also seen Tom Brady make a comment that Hurts has got to be better in the pocket. I heard it last year. Heard it. A single player? That's not a single player. I saw Christian McCaffrey, and I saw another guy go on television during the Manning cast and say the one thing that you can always count on with the Philadelphia Eagles is that their offense is predictable. I mean, it's not just one guy. One guy. Yeah, okay. Sil's call sign would be Big Sills. How you doing? Like, right, like Maverick. Okay, so sometimes teams have your number. That's cool. Goddamn, dude, let it go. I don't care for Hurts. Dude, the quarterback is the essential part of your offseason here. You think your offseason is based on your moves on what you're going to make personnel-wise. Your entire offseason is based on the coaching changes. That's a great question. What do you think is more of a conversation this offseason? The changes on the offense and the new offensive hirings, or what dudes you're going to bring in? Me, the number one thing is the direction of the football team with the quarterback. That's the number one question. It's not whether you're going to sign one of these Timu signings. This is going to come down to what you're doing on offense. If you want a true evaluation of a player, ask one who's played against them and is retiring without trying to get into broadcasting. Rasputin, dead on. That's why that makes so much sense. Levante David has made all his money. He's not getting into broadcasting. He's already made that clear. He's going to hang around the Bucs. He's got nothing to lose in the fight now. He's not a player anymore. He's coming out saying, Hurts was the guy anytime you played the Eagles, you made Jalen try to beat you. Once that run game was great, they ran you over. Quarterback wasn't going to beat you. So what about what Gardner said about Hurts as an actual teammate? What was that? Michael, imagine Vic throwing darts out there to Smitty and AJ. Michael Vick would have been insane with those offensive personnel people. As a matter of fact, I think Carson Wentz would have performed well with all that talent. Hey, that's Carson Wentz with Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith, how do you think Carson would have played? Carson played well with lesser players. Carson played better with lesser players. He would have played better. He would have played better. He had lesser players and he played better. Not worried about the offense. With Hurts, he's not worried about, get this, every single thing that the Eagles did so far this offseason, it counters what RC3 saying here. I'm not worried about Hurts. Well, the coaching staff is. That's why they fired everybody. And they are worried about him at the helm. This is not factual. Okay, get this. He's went to the playoffs every year. See this, Zander? See how easy it is to lead people down the path? In his first 5 years, Joe Flacco did too. Joe Flacco, in his first 5 years, 54-26, 9-4 in the playoffs, with a Super Bowl win. Jalen Hurts, 56-22, 6-4 in the playoffs, with a Super Bowl win. Jalen Hurts and Joe Flacco? Sure. I think they're the same. Then Joe Flacco went on to being a decent quarterback. Difference is Flacco's better because Flacco's got more skill. Flacco's got more skill than him because he's better in the pocket. That's why he's going to play until he's 40. Hurts will never play into his late 30s or mid-30s. It's not going to happen. You're just not. Hurts isn't going anywhere. Y'all wishing for his downfall. Nobody's wishing for a downfall. Are you kidding me? He's great to cover. I don't understand the character of the player the drama's about. That motherfucker's built for this. We're going to find out. Built for this? According to people in the building, he's uncoachable. Seals, two things are happening. Sirianni has to prove he can evolve the offense, and Hurst has to progress as a passer. Without one or the other, does not happen. I like that take, and you're right. That's right. Joe Flacco went to the playoffs his first 5 seasons starting. Flacco won a Super Bowl MVP, and Flacco's record's 9-4 in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts was 56-22. He's 6-4 in the playoffs. Albeit they've been to 2, the Eagles. At the end of the day here, Jalen Hurts and Joe Flacco pretty compatible. Took the negative from a good player, a rival linebacker, but totally ignored and played Ray Charles to the positive from a good player. Let me see where the positive was. Let's see. Let's go down the line here. Here's the headline. Levante David, when playing the Eagles, we tried to make Jalen Hurts beat us. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts, we went over that. Linebacker appeared on the arena. And David said they focused, stopping the run, forcing Hurts and the Eagles to beat them in the passing game. Let me look for some positives. Our whole game plan was just to give them different looks, David said. It was one year when we beat them in the playoffs. We were playing straight cover 0. Cover 1 and cover 0 made him want to beat us. In 2023, the game prior to that, they had a great run game. They ran the ball all over us. So our game plan for the playoffs, just like, we got to make Hurts beat us. We're gonna keep him in the pocket, make him make his reads, make him understand what defense he's seeing, and stuff like that to make him beat us. They reasoned that the Eagles didn't ask Hurts to do much in the passing game. Some may say Hurts is one of the ones who wanted to keep it simple. Still, the revolving door offensive coordinators has been a factor. Whatever the reason for the inability of the Eagles to take advantage of Tampa Bay's focus on stopping the run, the Eagles have struggled against the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers, as David has explained it, Having prioritized neutralizing the run game during the Eagles and Hurts to beat them was how we wanted them to win. Tampa Bay surely isn't the only team to play the Eagles that way. Few have managed to win 66.6% of their games against Philly. I don't see anywhere in there as positive. 0. You made that up. I didn't see anywhere where Levante said anything like that. Players like Flacco don't play until they're 40 almost 40 unless they can read a defense and set protections. Very true. That's why Jalen won't play late in his career. Sills, by the way, you're reading the highlight on the negative? No, I'm reading the entire article. That was the entire article. Levante David, when playing the Eagles, we tried to make Jalen Hurts beat us. I read the entire article to you. That was the entire article. There was nothing else in there. I'm not sure what you're looking for. For any quarterback, you don't know that. Oh, my God. Really? Well, here, let me go over here. I'm sure WIP then posted that. Let's just put Levante David. Levante David. Jalen Hurts. I'll read it if he said something positive about him. I don't have a problem. Levante David's a great dude, man. Levante David on playing Jalen Hurts. Now they got a video. Hurts was never a guy we worried about. There was one year when we beat them in the playoffs and we played straight cover 0, cover 1, cover 0, and made him want to beat us. Levante David. There's a video of it, him saying, on playing Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was never a guy we worried about. I can't play the audio, but it's right there. I'm listening to it. What are you making up now? This is why I love coming on here, Sills. Sills is that, yeah, they think that I'm like excluding something. Levante David is the 4th all-time leading tackler in pro football history and is going to be a candidate to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer. He's a nobody. You don't have a linebacker in your entire career outside of Chuck Bednarik that's better than that guy on your franchise. Seth Joyner's nowhere near that guy. Like Levante David is probably next to Derek Brooks as a player in Bucs history. You don't even know who you're talking about. What do you mean for real? Yeah, he's got over 1,800 tackles in pro football history. You have no idea who you're talking about. Read what CJ said, jackass. No, I'll take out what an opponent said that played against him and is 2-4 against him. Fred Warner? I don't know. Maybe. Levante David. Like I said, a nobody. Well, then guess what? You've never had a linebacker in Eagle history that's anywhere near that player. I love when Sills calls other players trash. Why? Trash? I got more right than you do. Okay. I'm talking about you saying that he won't play until his 40s. Absolutely not. What dual threat quarterback plays into his 40s? Name me one. Name me one quarterback that played into his 40s or near 40 that was a dual threat guy. Name me one. You got a guy? Cunningham was not a dual threat guy. Watch this guy. This guy doesn't even know his own players. Here's Randall Cunningham. This is what he calls dual threat. So here's Randall Cunningham in his career. Early in his career, there's nobody that ran the ball better and threw the ball better. But once he got to year, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once he got to year 6 and he played 16 years. For the next 10 years, 500 yards, 110, 288, 98, 127, 132, 58, 59, and 40. The reason Randall Cunningham could play longer is because Randall Cunningham was a superior passer. 3,700 yards, 34 touchdowns. He was a great passer from the pocket, too. Randall was ahead of his time. True, early in his career, he ran the ball because he had to. But the other 10 years, he never ran the ball. And by the way, Steve Young, when he retired the all-time completion percentage guy in NFL history. He was more of a pocket passer because he was electric in the pocket. Okay? I just said that. First 6 years, he ran. After that, the last 10 years, he never ran. I'm going to quote Charles Barkley. You see a lot of young quarterbacks, not a lot of old ones. Correct. Dual threat doesn't mean you have to run. It just means you have the ability to. I'll take that. Okay? Yes. Ike sees him. What up, Reyes? Dumbest dude on the planet. So why would dancing around Gardner's I'm not dancing around Gardner's comments. How many teams has Gardner-Johnson been on the last 4 teams? What's the last? We're not. Levante David's not a journeyman. Gardner-Johnson's a journeyman. He's just a dude. You're making it sound like he's some star player. He's a dude. Levante David played 15 years in Tampa. Super Bowl captain. This guy's going to go to the Hall of Fame. Could you imagine Cunningham with this offense? He'd be electric. He'd be electric. Get this. Here. Let me go back here and give you guys a little history here. By the way, you have no linebacker outside of Bednarik. None. That's in the conversation. Let's see here. Outside of Bednarik, I'd say. So let's come down here. I'm trying to find that. They sent me something on Levante. And I don't know if I saved it. I think he's got more tackles than Ray Lewis. And I think he's got more sacks. And he's a Hall of Famer. David was right. We remember that game. Seth Joyner's nowhere in Levante David's league. Bergey's not in Levante David's league. Not happening. Not happening. All right. So again, okay? Again, I mean, they worried about Jalen beating them. CJ's not a dude. He helped us get to 2 Super Bowls. Come on, Sills. Then why did you not keep him? How many teams has he been on? Saints, Eagles twice, Texans, and the Bears. And where's he now? 6 teams in 4 years. That's not a dude? Here, let me take a look at that. Double check. To make sure. C.J. Gardner. Let's see how many teams he's been on. Let's see here. Okay. So 2021, he was on New Orleans. 2022, he's on Philly. 2023, he's on Detroit. 2024, he's on Philly again. 2025, he was on Chicago and Houston. So in 5 years, he's been on 5 teams. 6 if you count the Eagles twice. That's not a dude. That's not a dude. Oh, and the Lions, too. You're right. That's not a dude. 6 teams in 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Wait a second. Prince, what do you make of a player that's been on a team, 6 teams in 5 years? What do you make of that? Was he on the Bills too? I don't see the Bills. Oh, he's on the Bills now. So wait a minute. 2026, he's now with Buffalo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 teams in 6 years. What do you make of that? 7 teams in 6 years. What do you think? That's not a dude? That's not a dude. Hold on, Prince. Prince, a guy's been on 7 teams in 6 years. That's not a dude? And he's been cut numerous times? No, right? Fit your narrative. I'm talking about reality. Guy's been on a team 7 teams in 6 years. And you think that guy's a star player. Answer what question? Sure, whatever. What? What's the question? That's a great agent? What's the question? About a guy who's been on 7 teams in 6 years. What about it? Help me out here. I'm waiting for this question. I can't see a guy who's a dude. Okay? A guy. So you take CJ Gardner-Johnson. What happened to those teams? What happened to those teams he joined? They were good football teams. Why have they cut him? If he's so good, why can't he find a home? I think he's a dude. I think he's a good player. He's a good player. He is. 7 teams in 6 years. I'm not going to debate a guy who's a journeyman. He's a dude. Hey, these guys are trying to compare Gardner-Johnson to a guy who's 4th all-time in tackles in pro football history. Levante David, the captain of the defensive football team for the Bucs during that run, and is going to go to the Hall of Fame one day. You're comparing Gardner-Johnson to him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to another topic here. Got some answers I'm looking for from you guys. Yeah, okay. Gardner-Johnson is not ever going to have the career that Levante David did. That's not happening. I'm not trolling anybody. Dude, what are you talking about? 7 teams in 6 years is a dude. Never seen a dude get this much smear and doesn't even talk. Not sure what you're talking. Let's see here. CJ also has a history speaking out emotionally. David doesn't have the baggage. When you're great, you don't have to speak. You let your football do the talking, you know? A couple weeks ago when the Bills signed him, you said, you know what happened when Gardner-Johnson joins a team? Now he's just a dude. I don't care what you say. He's a good football player, Prince. 7 teams in 6 years makes you a dude, especially when the team doesn't want to resign you. Why don't these teams want to resign him? Nobody, including the Eagles. I answered yours. Answer this one now. Hey, get this. These guys don't want to face reality. Folks, any player that's been on 7 teams in 6 years is a dude. Those organizations move on from them. There's no receipts. He's a good player that no one wants to keep. Those are facts. Well, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. They got just as many Super Bowl wins as you. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they got just as many appearances as you. And they got a better record than you against you in the Sirianni era. So don't say you're a better franchise than them. Ain't nothing wrong with switching teams. It's better than sitting the bench. Ain't that right, Sills? Hey, Marsh, you're right. I mean, Gardner-Johnson's a legendary player, playing now on his 7th team in 6 years. Okay. So wait a minute. He's not a dude. CJ has character issues. Okay. That's why nobody wants him. Okay. You talk about people moving the goalpost. Look at people moving the goalpost on a guy that no one wants. Or no one wants to keep. Here we go with the clowns in this chat that get butthurt to hear the truth that Sills is saying. Again, I am a realist, not a fake-ass Jalen Eagle fan. Temple, they're going to take a guy who's been bounced around the league like a basketball, in his word, over a guy who's going to be considered for Canton. Every person I've talked to, and we'll get them on again, every one of them, Jason Cole, Armando Salguero, Jared Bell, also said, all of them, that he may not be a first ballot Levante David, but he's going to Pro Football Hall of Fame. I don't have the vote. They do. Okay. Hey, great comeback, Brian. Yeah, I know. Right? More like a 20. Hey. Didn't Randy Moss bounce around? Let's see. How many teams? Vikings, Patriots, Raiders. Let's see. And back to the Vikings. Every single star wide receiver bounces around. AJ will be on his 3rd team after June 1. Devontae Adams, he'll be on his 1, 2, 3, 4th team when they trade him. Tyreek Hill is on 1, 2, will be on a 3rd team. Cooper Kupp is on his 2nd team. I lost count of Stephon Diggs. Let's see. Debo is on his 2nd team, 3rd team soon. All these star wide receivers move around. I wonder why. Sure, Levante wasn't wrong. That was his experience against Hurts. Pittsburgh would say the same thing about Lamar, though. Fair enough. That's fair. I'm holding people accountable. You're all talking it as a glazing for Jalen Hurts. Some of you are weirdos praying for Sills to acknowledge you. That's not the case. I put good takes up here. I try to acknowledge everybody. That's not the case. I talk to people like you, or I talk to M. Reyes or any of these other guys. I don't handpick to have myself be heard. Get this. Hey, Prince, are you really saying that I don't put people up here that disagree with me? Unlike people on the air in Philly who don't put anyone on the air to dispute their takes. I put you guys up all the time. Okay? I got you, Prince. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Prince, because, hey, guys, I don't have to put you up, but I do. I got you. I got you, Prince. Prince is good with me. Dude, I love that guy. We're good. I put your takes up even if you agree or disagree with me. You'll never get that anywhere in Philly. Really, pretty much anywhere in the country. Nobody talks to people who disagree with their takes. I do. I give you every chance to dispute what I say. And I acknowledge you, even when you disagree with me. Seals, you put up the disagreeing folks more. Correct. Yes. Because I want them to have a place. This is why you guys can disagree and feel comfortable. You can feel comfortable here that you disagree with me. And I'll put you up. Okay? Great. One of the best compliments I could ever have. Okay? Seal's show is very unique. Basically, every show with a chat hardly ever get talked about live during the show. My God almighty, I would never do this show without you. My content, even my guest. I don't care how good the guest is and how big the guest becomes. You guys are the star of the show with us. Yo, Sales, I think you're fair. I don't think you hold back on things. You know about the birds. Nope. Hey, by the way, I'm not right. Look at 2024. I got assassinated in 24. Worst year of my broadcasting career. Absolutely. Birds made me look stupid. The other years now, I've been pretty much right. Say at about a 75% clip. Dexter Lawrence just requested a trade, Sales. I saw that. Not a good sign. Obviously, there's something in the building that Dexter doesn't like going on. And anytime you get a change in a coaching staff, okay, yeah, but I got just about everything right last year. And in 23, and in 22 even. I told you you're going to Super Bowl. And in 21. We were pretty much dead on. We've had one really bad year. The rest of them have been great. You've been wrong a lot of times, but you keep it coming. I have not been. I was wrong in 24. There was no other year I was wrong. I've been right 75% of the time. 24, I was terrible. 24 was brutal. Because when I realized you guys were going to win, it was Baltimore. When that Baltimore game ended, I said, they're going to win this thing. Holy cow. If they're healthy going into the playoffs, they're going to win this thing. Sure enough, man. I was right about 23. I was right about 25. So stop the bullshit. You got more Democrat tendencies than anyone I know. Well, that's a first. I hadn't heard that one before. Dexter's been wanting a better contract for more than this season. He was chirping about it last year. He's a great player. That's why I said 75%. Harbaugh must be wanting Lawrence to play a one technique instead of a three. Could be. Okay? You say you've been right every other year but 24. But, Sills, if you want any team each year, they won't win it all. That's right. Well, that's correct. That's right. To sit there and think that you guys were going to go back-to-back last year was insane. It was insane. There were no shot at you winning the Super Bowl a year ago. Okay? Well, think about it. In the NFL, repeating or winning, it's impossible. Eagles tied for 7th all-time in championships. So you're going back to when they put the helmets on with no face mask. Okay. In the Super Bowl era, Steelers, Patriots, Chiefs, Rams. I think the Rams only have Vermeil and Sean. I think they only have 2 also. Sills. Yes, Sills, don't change or get sensitive either. Sills, we're dog no matter what the debate is. Absolutely true. I might be a meta drunk if you win. Man. Prince, all good, dude. 50% of the time, is that good enough? That's not me. The defense was probably good enough to make a run. Offense held them back. I think the defense in that game against the 49ers got a little exposed. All right. So I want to go here. Here's some questions. By the way, Zander's going to join us at 3:30. Gary Cobb at 4:30. Okay? You cool, Sales? Just another barbershop talk. Amen. I love that. Absolutely, man. We're all good. All right. Here's some questions. These are 2025 questions that I've written down here. And I'll ask you if they're going to address these and how they're going to address these. Okay? All right. Do you believe that the Eagle coaches mismanaged Saquon Barkley last year? Yes or no? Did they mismanage Saquon? Did the Eagles mismanage Saquon Barkley? Well, wait a minute. Okay. No. You're missing it. If you had O-line issues, if you had this, okay, and you thought you had injuries in the offensive line, how come they didn't put him in a better position to succeed? By throwing the ball more to him or running plays that could get him outside. Well, the current format, boy, you're really into the Odyssey thing here, my friend. Okay? Thanks for the super, though, but yeah, not really caring about Odyssey and their failures right now, but I get it. I mean, how are they going to address this? I think they mismanaged him. Here's why. Okay, let's just go here with the O-line. So the O-line was injured. So you just continued to run the ball in the holes that you knew weren't there, and you just continue to run into a stone wall? Isn't that mismanaging? Prince, think about this. So if you knew that the offensive line had issues, you're just going to run him and continue to run him as a coaching staff into like a wall, and you're going to continue to run that guy into a wall? Isn't that mismanaging? Why weren't you trying to do things to get him more in space? Why weren't you trying to run more stretch plays? Why weren't you trying to do more things with Saquon Barkley? If you don't think that player's finished, okay? And if you don't think that player's finished, and he's still got tread on the tires, why didn't you help him? So that's on the coaching. Saquon Barkley was mismanaged by the coaching last year. Is that fair? Barkley. Mismanaged by the coaching staff. Is that fair? So you know it's not working. You run it 10 times, 12 times, 13 times. You keep running? And you know full well he's not going anywhere? Okay. Have they addressed it? We'll get to that. Here's another one. So Barkley was mismanaged. Do you think the Eagles mismanaged A.J. Brown a year ago? That's what dumb coaches do. No answers. Okay? We got to, hey, there's an end to this. Gabe, you don't think that A.J. Brown was mismanaged? So wait a minute. You line a guy up at one position the entire time, and you don't try to move A.J. Brown around in your offense to create more versatility. You guys don't think A.J. Brown was mismanaged last year at all by the coaching staff? You really don't. You kept him in one spot the entire year. You never even attempted really in the slot. You barely move him around. You don't think that the coaching staff misused him where he would just evaporate. Wait a second. No. A.J. Brown is frustrated because the quarterback sucks. Okay? Do you think that the coaching staff did him a justice, A.J. Brown, last year, or do you think they mismanaged him? Yes or no? Kevin Patullo, all them guys. Because you're blaming it now on he's lost a step. Yeah, he got 60 yards a game, 59 yards a game. Quarterbacks were not playing to the quarterback strengths last year. Okay? So AJ was mismanaged by the coaches a year ago. They didn't do anything with him. They didn't try to get him open. Let me see something here. Let's go to A.J. Brown a year ago. A.J. Brown. Game chart. For 2020, I'm going to make a point here at the end of this. 2024. Here we go. Here were his games. So, in the Cowboy game, he had 3 receptions. The next 2 games, Commanders and Steelers, he had 8. So in the first 3 weeks, he had nearly 20 receptions and roughly around 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. Watch this after that. Then they went 4, 4, 5, 4, 3 in catches. And targets were down. They completely got away from him. Here's his chart from a year ago. They went in some aspects in the middle of the season where they completely got away from him. AJ's the biggest crybaby in the NFL. I don't think so. I think he's just like every other receiver in the NFL. Those coaches screwed the whole team up. That's why we have a whole new staff, but you blame Hurts. Well, they changed it for – yeah, I do blame Hurts. You're not changing any offensive staff anywhere in pro football but in Philly with that winning record. Who else is there to blame? You're changing and you're winning. Most teams change when they lose. Why are you changing, Marshall, when you're winning? I've never seen a team change an entire coaching staff out when you're winning. Have you ever seen anything like it? We're a team that has so much winning, you change the entire staff out. Most of the time when you're losing, you change the entire staff. You don't change when you're winning. You might change a coach here. You might change a coach there. You blew the entire staff out. That's unprecedented. You think they're changing what Matthew Stafford does or Mahomes or even Brock Purdy or Jordan Love or what they're going to do in Chicago with Caleb? They're not changing anything. They're adding. The only place with a starting quarterback that they're pulling the plug on the offense is in Philly, and they're 50-18 in the last 4 years. I've never seen anything like it. And I'll show you where I'm going. Hell, they don't even change with Dak. And do me a favor. Stop blaming AJ for this bullshit. This is on Nick. That's Nick's team. That's Nick's culture. That's Nick's way of handling players. Do a better job, Nick. Do a better job. The freaking coaches stink. They are the caboose for this team. You're proving my point. Wait a minute. I'm proving his point because they won and they're changing the entire offense to something the quarterback can't do. Yeah, okay. Yeah, what's your point? That you think that Jalen Hurts can run a Matthew Stafford offense? Well, I'll tell you what, we're about to find out because I don't believe that's anywhere near true. Everybody knows in the NFL now, Hurts can't run a prolific offense or pro-style offense. It's a gimmick offense. It's a gimmick offense. Here. So they mismanaged AJ. Let me ask you this one. Do you guys think they mismanaged Devontae Smith last year? Do you think they mismanaged Devontae Smith? Yes or no? Did the coaches mismanage Devontae Smith last year? Get this. Here, you want to know why that? I'll show you, folks. Why getting 1,000 yards in today's NFL is a joke. Here. I'll show you had more receiving yards than every single one of them dudes. And you tell me if you think these guys are stars or not. Let's see. Let's go receiving. Okay. So, you think Courtland Sutton is a better ball player than Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown? Courtland Sutton. You think he's a dominant wide receiver in today's NFL? Do you think he's dominant? Anybody? He's a dominant player. Cortland Sutton is the number one in Denver, and he's a dude. Cortland Sutton, you're right. He's a solid. He's great for his team. Okay. Yeah, all right. With Bo Nix as his quarterback. Yeah, keep moving the bar. How about this one? Wan'Dale Robinson, New York Giants, had more yards than any Philadelphia Eagle. Stephon Diggs had more receiving yards than any Philadelphia Eagle. Michael Wilson had more receiving yards than A.J. Brown. Alec Pierce, who played in just as many games as A.J. Brown, had the same amount of receiving yards as A.J. Brown. Shit, Christian McCaffrey almost had as many receiving yards as A.J. Brown did. Don't talk to me about 1,000 yards. So, back to the question. Do you think the coaching staff mismanaged A.J. or Devontae Smith last year? That's the quarterback's fault? Hey, do you think they mismanaged Devontae Smith last year? Yes or no? So far, they mismanaged Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown. Did they mismanage Devontae Smith? So wait a minute, Ruiz. You don't think they utilized him more, moving him around and trying to get him open more by leaving him in one spot like they did the other guy? It's not mismanaging? There's three guys. Let's come down to the quarterback. You hate the Eagles so much, you got to chill, bro. Bro, I don't hate anybody. I hate Nazis. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, did they mismanage Jalen Hurts last year? Yes or no? Did they mismanage Jalen Hurts in 2025? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so Gabe, they've mismanaged Barkley and getting him open. They mismanaged AJ. They mismanaged Devontae Smith. And they mismanaged the quarterback. Okay. Did they mismanage the offensive line? I'm getting someplace. Okay? I'm not proving your point because the point will be made at the end of this. Okay? Did they mismanage the offensive line? No, they were hurt. So injuries. They did not mismanage the O-line. I'm going to go there with that. But let me see something here. How many games did Landon Dickerson play in 2025? He played 15. They sat him. He missed time with a calf injury in December and was inactive for the final one. So he missed one game out of the 17. Let's take a look at Cam Jurgens. See what Cam did. 2025 team. Cam Jurgens played in 11 games during the 2025 season, so he missed 6 games. Jurgens played. He missed 6. Actually, he missed 5 because they sat him. So he missed 5. Cam missed 5, and Landon missed 1. Okay. How many did Tyler Steen play? Tyler Steen. Tyler Steen played in 15 ball games. So he missed 1. I'm reading it right. He missed 1. Played the most snaps of anybody on offense because they sat him for the 1, and he missed 1 game. So Steen missed 1. So far, Landon 1, Steen 1, Cam 5. I don't think Mulata missed any. Jordan Mulata. Jordan Mulata played in 2025. He played 5th. He missed 1. Mulata. And let's see the last one, Lane. Lane Johnson. Appeared in 10 games, so he missed 7, which is the most. So of all your starters last year, Landon missed 1, Steen missed 1, Cam missed 5, Mulata missed 1, and Lane missed 7. You had 7, 8, 9, 10. You had 15 games total with 5 players. That's not a lot. That's not a lot of losses in games played. Outside of Lane, Lane was the guy that really threw the balance off. Most of your guys missed 1 game as a unit. Lane was the guy that missed the most. The only other guy that was close was the center and Lane. Cam missed 5 games. My point is, you didn't really lose a lot of ball games last year when it came to players not playing in the amount of games you thought. Jordan Mulata played in 16 ball games. Steen played in 16 ball games, 15 ball games. They sat him 1, he missed 1. Jurgens played in 12 ball games, missed 5. Mulata missed 1, sat him. And Lane missed 7. You didn't really miss. Landon Dickerson only missed 1 game last year. So when you say these guys were banged up, okay, they didn't miss a lot of ball outside of the center and the right tackle. And you think they're going to come back having not missed a lot of time a year ago and they're going to be better? Or they've mismanaged in depth. They haven't retooled the team offensive line-wise. These guys got old because of the tush push. And these guys, at the end of the day here, that's not what I said, bro. You're moving the sticks. He played in 16 fucking games. And you think they're going to get, what, healthier as they're getting older? Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson missed good time. 5 ball games and 7 games. Rest of them missed 1. And they sat the last one. Here's the significance of that. If you think they're going to come back healthier, based on what? Landon and Steen and Mulata didn't miss any time, really. Cam Jurgens did. Lane, I'll be shocked if he plays 13 games. What's your game plan there? Get this. Straight up fake news. I just looked it up. I just totally looked up their playing time. Here. We'll do it again. This guy doesn't want to fucking hear the truth. Landon Dickerson. There you go. Landon Dickerson. 15 games, sat one, missed one. Landon Dickerson, 1. Right down the list. This guy's full of shit. Tyler Steen. You're praying for health. Tyler Steen, excuse me. Tyler Steen played in all 17 ball games. He didn't miss any games. Steen didn't. You're right. You're right, Reyes. That was fake news. Steen didn't miss any. Let's go here to Mailata, Jordan Mailata. How many games did he miss? He missed 1. Mailata missed 1. 1 game. About Cam Jurgens. This guy's so full of shit, he can't believe it. Let's see here. Cam Jurgens. Cam Jurgens, 2025. He missed 2 games because they sat him. So 2. Jurgens. So far, Steen's missed none. Mailata 1. And Jurgens 2. Not 5. Thanks, Reyes. Let's see here. And Lane Johnson. I'm glad I did this again. If it wasn't for him. He missed 7 games. Lane. So Steen, Mailata, and Jurgens. What did I say, Landon? Landon missed 1. So here were the amount of games you missed in the offensive line last year. This is not fake news, my friends. I just looked it up. Steen missed no games. Landon missed 1. Mailata missed 1. Jurgens missed 2. And Lane missed 7. A total of 11 games they missed out of the 5 guys. What do you mean? You mismanaged? They were hurt? There weren't a lot of games missed there. How's that possible? You got 11 games missed out of 5 guys. And the majority of them are in Lane Johnson's room with 7. The rest of the guys missed 2, 1, 0, 1, and 1. And you think you're going to get healthier? How are you going to get healthier? Well, then they should have sat his ass. Then they should have sat him. Bro, you're missing the point. The reason they couldn't sit him is because they mismanaged the roster. They weren't deep enough to bring anybody in. That's mismanaging the roster because you had no depth. If he's hurt, you're playing him because you have to. Do you understand what that means? You're putting more harm on the future and the length of the guy's career because you have no answers and you mismanage the position of offensive line. And maybe this is one of the reasons that Stoutland got pushed out. You didn't miss a shitload of games. And one of the reasons that you potentially got pushed out here in the offensive line was, hey, I kept hearing the offensive line's injured. Well, you missed 11 games out of 5 guys and 7 with 1 dude. You didn't miss a shitload of games. You didn't have depth to cover for the injuries of the players, so you had to run them into the ground. I mean, Dude, that's mismanaging the position. You're missing it, as usual. So let's go here with another one. Do you think you mismanaged the run game? You think you mismanaged the run game? So the reason I take Proctor at 23, you put him at guard. Also, let's say Lane misses time. You can kick him out to right tackle. Putting a rookie out there, right tackle, and you're going to put that guy out there when you're implementing a new offensive game plan? That's a big risk, my friend. You're going to put a rookie offensive tackle, and you're making all these changes in the offense and with the offensive coaching staff. Okay? Look at this. See this guy? Jalen Hurts is 63 and 29. What are you bitches crying about? Not me. Offenses, they fired all the coaches because of him. Think about that. This guy can't answer the number one thing, not by me. What are the Eagles doing then? Why'd they fire all the coaches? Hey, LJ, why are they firing all the coaches? Why'd they fire all the coaches and hire a Sean McVay passing coordinator? Yeah, I know. What? Why'd they fire everyone? Why did they fire every coach that got those numbers? Get this, folks. Okay, hold on. People get fired all the time. The entire offensive coaching staff, folks, got fired. The entire offensive coaching staff got fired with those numbers he put up. Why are they changing? Answer the question. Why did the entire staff get changed and the approach get fired? Wait a minute. Patullo was trash. He just got through saying they were 63 and 29, and he keeps posting 11 wins. Kevin Patullo won 11 wins with his offense. You keep, which is it, dude? They got 11 wins with Kevin Patullo? Okay? And they still fired him. So what is it? 11 wins? And Kevin Patullo sucked. Well, then why'd they fire everyone? If Kevin Patullo sucks, Kevin Patullo wasn't the only guy fired. They fired the entire offensive coaching staff. Wait a second. Is it Patullo's 11 wins? No. It was that entire coaching staff's 11 wins. They got rid of it. Wait a second. No. They fired the entire staff. Dude, they want to hang it on Patullo. What about everyone else that got canned? Run game coordinator, pass game coordinator, also offensive coordinator, offensive line coach. Why did they all get fired? If they're 63 and 29, why did they get fired? Anybody? Why did they get fired? This dude wants to tell you they got a great record. Fair enough. Why'd they fire him? Not one dude. All of them. Why? Wait a second. If they stink so bad, according to that guy, they were 63 and 29. And their floor was 11 wins. Why'd they fire everyone? Wait. They just didn't bring in a new OC. He brings his guys in. Wait a second. This guy's trying to make you think that Chris Cooper was brought in by an offensive coordinator that has never, ever been an OC or a play caller, let alone an offensive quarterback coach. He brought him in. He brought Josh Grizzard in, and he brought in a brand new quarterback coach. Bro, if you're 63-29, like you say, and your floor is 11 wins, and you keep crowing that that's a great record, then why the fuck did they fire everyone? They just didn't fire one guy or two. They fired the entire staff and also said this: we're not doing what we did in the past. You can't answer it. It makes no sense. And then, get this, then he goes to asshat this, and you're like, wait a minute, guy. You can't answer the question with normal brains unless you address the main issue. They're doing it because they know they can't continue winning this way. And they were 63-29, like he said, and their floor was 11 wins. But they know it's not sustainable. Even the freaking coaches. Get this, the running back coach and the wide receiver coach and all the main coaches, pass game coordinator, offensive coordinator, run game coordinator, and quarterback coach are all new. But he's telling me a running back and a wideout coach. You got it, kid. You're as dumb as those posts that you put up because you can't answer your own freaking questions. This guy's ridiculous. He tells you that their floor is 11 wins. He tells you they're 63-29. I asked the simplest question. Then why'd you fire the entire staff? That mattered. And why, if those things were so successful, get this. That's low-hanging fruit, folks. That's when I know I've won the argument. Just promises me if you ever see me backpedal, ban me. Thank you, sir. They need a different scheme. Well, wait a minute. Steven, you're 63-29, and your floor's 11 wins. And according to that idiot's take, the guy's one of the winningest quarterbacks. Why are you changing everything? What did he get promoted to? Nothing of any significance in the offense. Zero. Zero. (63-29) shows you how good the players were. The players we had, not the coaches. Now we're getting to the take here on mismanaging. Now we're getting somewhere. This goes back to my comment about Howie. You guys should have won back-to-back Super Bowls. You guys should have done all these things you wanted to see done. But what happened? The incompetence of hiring an offense has regressed the offensive football team. And that is an organizational mismanage. Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie have mismanaged the offense. They mismanaged the quarterback. They mismanaged the running back. They mismanaged the receivers. They mismanaged the offensive line. This all goes back to them. You guys keep asking the most important question every single week. How can the guys with the names on the back of the jerseys on offense have such a poor year a year ago? This was across the board. This is across the board. Across the board. Receivers didn't play up to snuff. Passing game was 25th. The run game was 16th. Everything on the football team was at the reasoning, and the hirings, again, the last 2 years make no sense. They're mismanaging the offensive football talent. And I think Howie knows that. You know, do you guys agree? They either want to get out from under the quarterback or they want to get out from under the head coach. Or maybe both. I don't know. But they want to get out from somebody. I mean, okay, get this. Here, let's go here. Running back coach, the same. Wide receiver coach, the same. Okay, folks, let me show you, okay? Again, what new offensive coaches did the Eagles hire? Offensive coordinator, Sean Mannion. Passing game coordinator, Josh Grizzard. Senior offensive passing coordinator, Jared Johnson. Run game coordinator, Ryan Mahaffey. O-line coach, Chris Cooper. There's not one guy on this coaching staff, not one guy who's going to be instrumental that's not new that was on this team a year ago when it comes to play calling and strategy. The wide receiver coach has no say. The running back coach has no say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new coaches have been brought in to handle the offense. Not one guy that was here. Not one guy. Not one guy. And by the way, it's the entire game plan coaching staff. All the people that have a say in the game plan. Okay. Dude, you're not very smart. And I'm sorry I just wasted 3 minutes of my life. But guys like him make me look brilliant. He says maybe Hurts is done taking orders from Sirianni and training wheel coordinators. I guess. Anyone else ever been that frustrated watching football when your team wins 11? It was fucking painful. Bro, I've been saying that. Whenever the Eagles make a push, it's because they have an OC who knows what he's doing. But Nick's a great coach. You say we've changed the whole coaching roster and you have us having a losing record, but I'm going to guarantee that we're going to have a winning record and be in the playoffs. Fair enough. Mismanage or worrying about the future and not riding with what they had and not sign key players to keep that run going like Sweat. Mismanagement of salary cap, I believe. This comes down to this. Like I said, they mismanaged that entire offensive coaching staff. They mismanaged the entire offensive personnel. Do you guys agree with what we pointed out? You run Barkley into the same play every single game and every single play going nowhere. You couldn't move the receivers around in any way and be creative in anything to even help the quarterback. You mismanaged the quarterback because why? You hire coordinators that do nothing to help him. The offensive line was mismanaged because all those guys that you drafted played no snaps last year. How many guys have you drafted in the last 2 years? And not one of those guys have played. I mean, there's zero depth in your O-line. So much so you had to go back and you had to get Fred Johnson. You didn't miss a shitload of games, guys, in the O-line, except for Lane. Jurgens missed 2 ball games and sat one. Mulata missed 1. Steen missed none. Lane missed 7. Lane's 36 years old. So you played the guys because you had no depth. if Landon didn't finish games? How come you didn't have anybody that was competent enough to go in? Could be. Could be. Good player. Good engine. Is he a first rounder? I think Messidor is a kid that I think he could go at the end of the first round or third round. I think after the first 3 edge rushers, I think everybody's the same. So if you get Messidor, I think if you draft him in the first round, it's an overdraft. But if he's down now near 25 or 6, if you move back and he's there, I don't have a problem with him at 26. He's a player between 26 and 47, somewhere in there. He could go from 27 to 47, like that. He's one of those guys. I don't really look at the back of the name. I don't look at the back of the jersey and see the name. I could care less. Jimmy Johnson taught me that. Don't look at the name, because the name will cloud your judgment. Look at the skill. Look at what he does at the combines. Take a look at his interview. Did you have a chance to talk to the kid? I mean, there's probably, like I said, 7 or 8 sandbox guys. The rest of them, I don't know. You could take them anywhere. Okay? Stewart will be 30 by the time he gets a second contract. Well, you don't have to worry about that in Philly because you don't sign guys to second contracts. Football is entertainment. Don't care if win is a win. If it's constant garbage, Chargers game was the most exciting game of the season. Hey, Wizard, I'm with you on this point, and I'm with that one stupid ass that posts dumb shit every day. And I'm not talking M. Race because he posts dumb shit too. But if you're 63 and 29 and your floor is 11 wins, I'm not changing shit. I may add some things, but I'm not getting rid of an entire coaching staff, an entire person that puts game plans together and puts my offensive game plan together. I'm not getting rid of all them guys. Think about what that guy was posting. He was posting 63 and 29, and they blew up the entire offensive coaching staff that mattered. Play caller, run game, pass game coordinator, all them guys have been moved out. Every one of those guys have been moved out. It's important to remember that when the Eagles are successful, they're able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides. Expect to lose without it. Yes. Absolutely. Hurts had 326 yards passing and 3 TDs versus the Vikings, who were the best pass defense in the league at the time. Brian, what's your point? Are you trying to tell me that Hurts is a prolific passer? Or what are you trying to tell me? Jalen Hurts has never been a consistent passer and never will be. Will you stop with that? Ugh. I got to read this one thing here before I get Big Z in here. Let me go here. Hoody dotty, heedy dee dee da da da. Let me reset the table here. Hold on here. Where is that? There we go. Hang on here. Let me scoot down here. I can't believe that something must be going on with the defensive coaching staff in New York for Big Dexter Big Sexy wanting to get out of there. Okay? For him to want to get out of there, something's up. And he may not like the direction. They may have even asked him to lose some weight because they may want him to play more 3 technique. I don't know. But where's this here? I got to get this here. One thing before we get Big Z up here. Hang on here. Here we go. Look at that big ol' ass bowl headline. Levante David, when playing the Eagles, we tried to make Jalen Hurts beat us. This is for Big Marsh, too. Eagles quarterback Hurts has a record of 57-25 in the regular season, 6-4 in the playoffs. Against the Buccaneers, however, Hurts is 2-4. LB for the Buccaneers, Levante David appeared on the arena explaining that the Buccaneers' approach to playing defense against the Eagles with Hurts at the helm. David said the focus stopping the run, plain and simple, and forcing Hurts and the Eagles to beat him in the passing game. Our whole game plan was to just give him different looks because he can't read a defense. It was one year when we beat them in the playoffs, we was playing straight zero coverage. Okay. In 23, the game prior to that, they had a great run game, man, and they ran all over us. So our game plan for the playoff game was like, we're going to make Jalen Hurts beat us. We're going to keep him in the pocket, make him have to make those reads he can't make, try to make him understand the defense, which he can't, and we have to see if he can beat us in the pocket, which he can't. Damn! That's a future Hall of Famer barking. Shit, did Todd Bowles even make a comment a couple years ago about the QB? Damn, this is getting so good. God, every week, it just never stops here. And I hope everybody had a great week because I'll tell you what, I had a spectacular week. Man, I'll tell you what, it was a big sales week. You know what? It wasn't a very good week for Jalen, but it was a great week for Big Sills. And now, without further ado, the man who had some air taken out of him last week. And I hope that Monday he sees fit to have a little more air at the beginning of the week. I don't know. Towards the end of the week last week, I saw a guy running out of hope. Fate. And his guy, number 2. Is it 2 or 1? I don't remember now. I don't remember the guy's number. Without further ado, my man, Big Z, Zander Krause joins us right now here on the program.
What's up, Sills?
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
How was your Easter, man?
My Easter was great, man. Easter was great. I had my family in town, and even my uncle, my cousins from New York, who I don't see as much, they were in, so it was good. It was good. It was
Is
a good
that the one
Easter.
that shits on Hurts?
No, he was here too, but that's my Uncle Frank. My Uncle Tony is the one who is in from New York. Shout out to my Uncle Tony.
Good, man. So what you making that story I read to you about Levante David? Now he's piling on.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is what it is. A guy in the NFC, takes a shit on an opposing team in the NFC's quarterback. It is what it is. I mean, is he saying anything that we don't know? The bigger problem for all...
He's retired now.
This is the thing. This isn't news. Excuse me. Who's the damn coordinator that we played against in the freaking Super Bowl? I'm blanking on his name. Spagnuolo said the same thing. He said, when we came into that game, we were focused on Saquon Barkley and the receivers. Okay. Jalen Hurts made him pay. I don't have a problem if Jalen Hurts isn't their top guy to take it away. What I have a problem with is if he's not able to capitalize on what they're giving him. So Jalen's got to look. It all comes back to Jalen's got to play better, and if he does that, I think we're all good. But again, Spag said the same thing, and it cost him. So Levante David can have that take. Just don't get taken to the woodshed, Levante. He is a Hall of Famer. Is he done? Is he retired now?
He's retired. He
retired this year, right?
4th all-time in tackles in pro football history.
Is that right? 4th all-time in tackles. That's a hell of a metric, dude.
More than Ray Lewis.
Man, that's phenomenal. I mean, look, that dude is.
And I think the reason you don't know about him is because his first 6 years, the Bucs stunk.
No, I know about him. I didn't know he was 4th all time in tackles, but I mean, I think most people should know about Levante David. I'm with you. He's going to the Hall of Fame, but
oh yeah, Oh, yeah. He's going
I knew Big Sills would make a big deal out of the comments.
Well, I think when you have a player in the league talking about how you defend another player in the league, I think that's credible, especially when you have to face him in the postseason. And I think you could take something from it. Now, do I think he was being malicious towards Hurts? No. I think he was asked a question on how you play.
I think it's being honest. And I think here's the other thing. I mean, I think every quarterback you figure out, especially over time, how to play them. It's not that somebody knows how to play you that's the problem. It's, for example, teams probably knew how they wanted to play Brady too. The problem was that even at their very best, Brady still threaded the needle no matter how small it was. That's what separates good from great.
Evolving.
Great from exceptional, right? It's not that they know how to play Hurts. It's a problem. It's if he doesn't take advantage or make them pay, that would become the problem to me. So it is what it is. I'm not surprised. They get a lot of talent on the Eagles offense, or at least they did, especially when Levante David was getting his ass beat. Although they beat us up pretty good when they had Levante David. What was their record with him? Probably 4-1. 2-4?
Against Jalen here, 2-4.
The Bucs the Eagles are 2-4.
Yeah, Eagles are 2-4 against when Jalen Hurts is there. Hey, by the way, before I get going into this, I keep hearing everybody talk to me about the offensive line a year ago. They were banged up and all. Outside of Lane Johnson, Jurgens missed 2 games. Mulata missed 1. Steen missed none. Landon Dickerson missed 1.
Wow, come on, dude. Don't play dumb. I mean, you know how that goes.
I didn't say that. I'm going to get to a point here on this in a minute, but the only guy that really missed significant time is Lane at 7.
Which is a big loss. That's a big loss.
No, and it affects the unit more than
right.
Like if you lose an end on defense versus losing an offensive tackle, the implications are more across the line in the old line than it is on the D line. You can lose.
I think
to me, still have Aaron Donald in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. That's the right way to look at it. I think to me, it's more like, missing games is one way to look at it, and the other way to look at it is, I'll just use you as an example. You get up every day and you never miss a day of work, but that doesn't mean you're operating at 100%. Some days your knees might hurt. Some days your back might hurt. You know what I mean? So I think it's less about how many games they missed and more about what percentage were they playing at last year. I don't think it ever got above 60% for Landon. I really don't. Cam, I don't know. Cam was maybe 60, 70%. Fred Johnson was solid, but you're not replacing Lane Johnson on the field. Jordan Mailata was okay, but at the end of the day, you can't repeat what he was able to do in 2024 as the highest graded player in all of the National Football League. So, I thought it was a regression to the mean in some areas, and I thought Landon and Cam were just flat out banged up, dude. Not to the point that they missed games, but just flat out banged up. I mean, do you remember Sills early in the year when we were like, and I think even you were saying this, sit him down for a couple games.
Yeah.
You remember that? And John was like, you're playing to win a game. You're not going to sit guys who can play, but I don't think they were ever even close to 100.
Okay. All right. Well, this is where I'm going with this question. Because, Big Sills is kind of like a guy who sprinkles food on the way to the trough. So I kind of I kind of, all right. So here's my topics to you. And when I ask these questions, I want you to think more than because I'm going to use one word. Do you think the offensive coaches last year mismanaged Saquon Barkley?
No, not particularly. I don't think it was an egregious mismanagement.
You think running the same play over and over again, not going anywhere, is not trying to figure out a way to manage that guy's skill set in a different set, get him the ball more in space?
Well,
try to utilize his talents more?
Well, I mean, let me ask you. I mean,
play over and over again.
I understand where you're coming from, but when you come off a year where you run the ball for 2,500 yards, you're just going to abandon it and start running to a different skill set? I mean, you sound like, look, this is seemingly what happened with Jeff Stoutland and Nick Sirianni this year.
Well, I'm going to go down the list here. Okay, to me, if I see something not working in game, Don't you make, adjustments to the player to try to get him into a position of success?
Yeah, but you don't want to. I mean, how quick are you going to abandon what worked to that level?
Okay, like I said, you're trying to get this guy. If I'm going the first 6 games and I'm averaging 3.8 yards a carry, and I see that you're telling me that those guys were banged up in the O-line, how do you not figuring out a way to utilize this guy's skill in a different way? If my O-line really is, because if it's not mismanaging the offensive line, which, by the way, I do think it was, and I'll tell you why. They mismanaged it so bad they had to go get Fred on a retrade. They had to go get another trade and bring his ass back because all them offensive line guys that they brought in meant nothing to the guys that you were going in and playing on a day-to-day basis that you knew you needed the rest. You were playing injured guys because you had to. Is that not mismanaging the O-line too? And
they traded for Fred before the season started, Sills. They didn't even wait till the season started.
Where were those other 6 guys to come in and play for these guys?
The
entire offensive room, how do you think they played a year ago?
Well, is that mismanagement or is that just players who, 5th and 6th round draft picks?
The whole fucking room?
Well, what about Matt Pryor? What about some of the other guys that played last year?
And how did they do?
How good did Sills? This is a crazy comment. I mean, how good do any backup offensive lineman do? Half the league's starting offensive lineman can't block a traffic cone.
I saw Cam Jurgens go from center to guard and was an alternate Pro Bowler at right guard.
Yeah, so now you're saying the Eagles need to have an all-pro backup offensive line too?
No, I'm saying they had an answer. They had no answers for anything in the O-line last year. Do you agree?
Yeah,
if you're playing players and you're telling me they're injured and outside of lane, they missed a total of 4 ball games.
Well, let me tell you
4 games they missed.
I'll tell you where I disagree.
In 17 games, they missed 4 games.
I understand where you're coming from. Let me tell you where I disagree. Everybody's focused on the offensive line, and they should be. But to me, the easiest way to get the run game going is not giving a magic pill to Cam or Landon to get healthier. It's passing the football better to unclog the drain.
That's mismanaging the entire unit.
How is that mismanaging the offensive line?
Because you're not utilizing your weakness and your strengths.
Yeah, but let me finish my point.
Okay.
The Eagles' offensive line and pass protection last year was still a top unit in the league.
Then why did they throw more?
Because that's my point. Is that on the offensive line? Is that on the coach?
That's mismanaging on the coaching staff.
How? That's on Jalen Hurts in the passing game.
If you're excelling in one skill set in pass protection, why didn't you up your volume like you did in 2024 when your run game was exceptional? If you were 7th in pass protection, why didn't you increase the passing the following year? Like you said,
because
even
they
at
couldn't
the beginning of the year, you said Jalen was going to have to throw the ball more because they were going to focus more on the run game.
Yeah.
Well, you got better pass protection. What was their excuse?
They couldn't throw the ball. That's not me. I agree with you, but that's not, to me, that's not mismanagement of the offensive line. That's ineffectiveness in a crucial area of the offense where things are going to get clogged in the running game if you're ineffective in throwing the football.
Let me ask you another one here.
Well, just real quick. Do you understand? I mean, do you at least understand where I'm coming from?
But I think that's a fundamental mistake by the coaches. If you're doing well in pass protection, either you don't have the quarterback that you think can increase the volume of passing and help you in the passing game to loosen that run game up, or again, you were never, ever, ever, ever going to get out of that hole you were in a year ago.
Yeah, I just put that more on the quarterback than I do the coaches. I mean, if you have a number 2 ranked, they were number 2, by the way.
So the coaches had no answers for anything?
I mean, what do you expect the coaches to do?
Okay, let me move on here. Do you think that they mismanaged AJ last year?
I think AJ mismanaged himself.
You don't think an offensive coaching staff not moving him around and trying to figure out a way to get their star number 1 wide receiver, not just about touches, quality touches, is that on the player Or is that on the coaching staff?
It is on the coaching staff, but they struggle to throw the ball through the air for many years now. Let me like for example, did Kellen Moore mismanage AJ Brown?
No, they completely knew that in his mind, Hurts couldn't win a game. Hurts could not get them to where they needed to. Hurts, once he got to the game, excelled. He did. He excelled. I think he had his best 3 games, in my opinion, are the most significant games that he's ever played in. The NFC title game and the two Super Bowls. The rest of those games that he's played in the playoffs, you can have every one of them. He's just a dude. I mean, the rest of those, but those were such key games. So again, I think your job as a coaching staff is to try to get players moved around to try to create matchup issues. They never do that with AJ. They never do that. You put your one guy on him, he's over to the left. They never create mismatch.
All right, so let me just give you this then. All right, so perfect scenario. Let's say the Eagles coaching staff does exactly what you're explaining. Are you under the impression that would have equated to a better passing offense? Or are you under the impression that the ball would have come out on time consistently to get AJ Brown the ball?
I'm getting there. And I'm getting there. Do you think last year the coaching staff mismanaged Jalen Hurts?
If they're the ones who have him not running, then yes.
Okay.
If he's the one who doesn't want to run, then he's mismanaging
himself. It's him. I think it's him not wanting to run.
I kind of agree, but I don't know for sure, obviously.
Oh, well, according to the stories that are coming out about the guys covering the team, It seems that, right?
Yes, okay. It does seem that way.
Well, if you're 7th in pass protection and your forte is pass and passing game, like Nick is, he's worked with some of the best passing quarterbacks in NFL history. Either you believe in the quarterback or you don't.
So what are you saying?
Nick doesn't believe the quarterback can do that.
Well, they kind of been.
Or he would have. If you're telling me they had one of the better years in pass protection and one of the worst years in run blocking, it counters what you did in 24. Do you see my point? In 24, you were so exceptional in running. You didn't throw the ball, right? You didn't have to.
Yeah.
In 25, you had to throw the ball and you didn't want to. Why? You were exceptional in pass protection.
Well, because every time they did it, they turned the ball over to too big of a degree.
Huh.
That's why I said originally that I don't feel as though it's mismanagement. It's more on the ineffectiveness of the pass. Now, maybe you could put that on coaching. I mean, you could to some extent, but I think people go too far. Like, here's an example. I mean, just looking down, first comment I see. Sills is 100% correct. I don't have a problem with you agreeing with Sills. The coaches are there to make the player better or they are useless. So does nothing come down on the players? WP? No. Like, do you not believe that any of it's on the players?
Player accountability is number one.
Yeah, I mean, that's
okay. However, I think that 49er game, and the reason I'm asking you all about this mismanaging and such is because the 49er game to me, and now they're gonna hire all of these coaches. I had a dumbass in here posting 63 and 29. And Jalen Hurts' floor is 11 wins. And he's 63 and 29. You guys don't get, not you, Z, but most of the people in here don't get it. Well, if that is your floor, 11 wins, you're 6-4, and you have great success in the postseason. Have you ever in your lifetime ever heard of a coaching staff with that kind of success changing up all the major players in an offensive huddle? Your pass game coordinator, your run game coordinator, your quarterback coach, your OC. Have you ever in your life? You're not doing that in Kansas City or with the Rams or with the Seattle Seahawks or with the Bears. You're not doing any of that. Why in Philly?
Talent of the players. No?
Sorry?
Talent of the players.
Talent of the player.
Do you not agree with that?
I don't think it comes down to the talent. I think it comes down, well, okay, I'll take that back. I think it comes down to the skill set of the players that you have in your huddle. What's their best formula for success? The best formula, this is an old Joe Madden line that he gave me. Joe Madden, former manager of the Chicago Cubs and also the Rays. And he said this, give me the best formula for success with the least amount of resistance. He says, that's what I look to do every time I go out and manage a game.
And that makes sense. That to me is good coaching.
Okay. Why are they going to a route here where they're going to have more resistance? Because some of the things that the player does not fit. You're creating more resistance.
You mean in what they're doing in the future?
Yes.
I don't disagree with that even one bit. I mean, how could I?
Have you not created more unpredictability? And I agree with you, RC3.
I think it's that they think that they need to evolve or die. Literally. Huh. That's what I think.
I actually like that. There's no gray area. You're either going to live or die.
Right. I mean, if we're not able to run the ball as successfully as we were, and that's the only way we can win games, well, guess what? We've limited our ability to win football games, or at least limited the scope in which we're able to win football games. I mean, and I think that's been true about this Eagles offense for quite a bit of time now. Now, many people don't want to acknowledge that or want to act like it doesn't exist, but the reality is it does exist. I mean, think about this. Would the Eagles have won? And this is obviously, a hypothetical, which is coulda, shoulda, woulda. If Saquon Barkley had 70% of the season he had in 2024, did the Eagles win that Super Bowl?
No.
I don't think so.
But I will say this. If Saquon Barkley had 70% of the season he had a year ago, you'd be in the NFC Championship game.
Explain.
If he got 1,600 yards rushing.
70% of his 24 season. I think you meant 70% of his last year.
Oh, no. 24 season.
Of his 24 season.
If he had 70%, you'd be in the NFC title game. Do you not agree?
Well, and now that you brought it up, I mean, shit, I might have been prophetic last summer. I mean, they needed to throw the ball. It didn't work anymore. The defenses took away the run game.
Yeah, but everything you said that should have happened, they should have coached it. Because guess what they had? They had the pass protection to do it.
So you think the passing inefficiency is more on coaching than
No. I think that if they were going to die, and with all these changes they're making now, they should have died throwing picks, not died a slow death. You're right, Z. This is either shit or get off the pot season.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, then why didn't they play that way in 2025? If you had the pass protection, they should
remember it was coming off a pretty historic year. Like, you don't want to just abandon what works. You know what I mean? Like, for example, we're running a company. If I do something that starts working, at an extreme rate, which is basically historic, and now nothing I could do is that in that realm, but in their realm it was. Would you just abandon that? No. You'd probably try and finagle to get it to work.
But I would also look at the environment I'm working in at that time too, because environments, every single season, you agree, players change, philosophies change, other people's changes philosophy.
Your opponents change the way they play.
The environment changes sometimes.
Yes, I agree.
Injuries 100%. Or what have you. I mean, in our business, adding more platforms, it's going to dilute other people's. You know what I'm saying? There's all kind of variables that you have when you're looking at success. I think you have to be careful sometimes when you're like looking at where you are. And I agree. So do you think the Eagles waited too long to change? Or do you think they did the right thing as a coaching staff and mismanaged that they went too long with the run game? Or do you think they did the right thing because they did win 11 games?
In hindsight, yeah, they waited too long. But, hindsight
I don't know what their alternative was to throw the ball more.
Right. And when they did that, they did it in the Chargers game, Sills, and we walked out of there with a loss and 5 turnovers in the football game.
Can I make a statement to you?
Sure.
You got to change your quarterback then, man. You're fighting the one thing you can't stop answering. And that's that the quarterback can't do this shit.
Yeah, but they're not going to change the quarterback right now, Sills. It's just not realistic. I know people want him to be changed, but, maybe if he falls flat this year, they will. But they're not doing that. Remember, as much as we want
asking, we keep circling around the
I don't disagree, but this is not recess football. There's more to it than this. There's contracts and personalities and coaches and owner favorites and brand deals and TV deals and all these different things. I mean, they're not just going to swap a quarterback out, dude. It's a bigger commitment than that. It's a bigger change than that. It's not just like, oh, Jalen didn't play good. All right, boom, we need a passer now.
You know what the word is going around the agents? I'll tell you what Drew Rosenhaus told me.
What's that?
Nicole Lynn was told flat out that quarterback doesn't play better. They're not extending him. Now, I didn't get that. That didn't mean ever. But they're not extending him. Well, and let me help you. There's two people that Rosenhaus was dealing with Howie. And of course, that was Jalen Phillips and Al Carter.
Right.
So, I remember Darius Slay too was a
Rosenhaus.
He's a Drew Rosenhaus guy too.
And a couple other people I think who are Rosenhaus guys right now too. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, look, like this is what I'll go to the chat. Sills is a Jalen hater. Well, Marquise, let me ask you in your own life. If you're paying for something that costs you a lot of money, and it performs at the bottom of the barrel, are you going to keep paying for it, or are you going to look to him? You know what I mean? Like, Marquise, I get you love Jalen. I have no problem with you loving Jalen. He's given you a lot of reasons to love him, and I have zero problem with people who absolutely love Jalen Hurts.
You should not love
him.
But
like live in reality, Marquise. Like, the passing offense has been bottom of the league for multiple years in a row. That's not good enough. And last year it proved to not be good enough. And that's why they got bounced by the depleted and injured 49ers at home in the playoffs. So, come on, man.
Hook me up on this, on Philadelphia sports here for a second. As a fan, you as an Eagle fan, you think sometimes because you hadn't seen anything like this era before, that people are so protective of what the guy's accomplished instead of where the guy's going, that you become more like, hey, look what he did. Look who he was. Look at what he's accomplished. And what happens in that, as you know, you got to produce every game, every year, every moment.
100%.
John says it to you all the time. This league changes every freaking year. 1 minute, you're 400 plus days ago, the guy was revered in a parade in Philly. Now they're putting articles out where he's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
That's the league.
I 100% think that's real. And I don't think that's crazy, by the way. I mean, look, you got to remember, this is a city who's had, Randall, Jaws, McNabb, Wentz, all these different guys who have brought different things and different skill sets and different talents to the team. And ultimately, none of them ended where they wanted to do outside of the backup quarterback and Nick Foles. Now you have a quarterback that became the starter in Philadelphia, your franchise guy who was able to get the job done. I understand completely why people love Jalen Hurts and why people have, a great affinity for him for that. But that doesn't mean you can just act like we're in a stasis, and you can't evolve. And the other thing that I think I'll credit to people who are Jalen Hurts fans is the overwhelming amount of evidence that exists around the National Football League is that people are more infatuated and in love with 4,200 passing yards and a first-round exit than they are 3,200 passing yards, or in this case, 2,900 passing yards and a Super Bowl ring. And the hardest thing to do as an Eagle fan is not look at the rest of the league, but look at our football team and say, how do you get the Eagles better? Because it's very easy for me to say, if I block out the rest of the league and say, how do the Philadelphia Eagles be more successful? It's pretty easy for me to say they got to pass the football better. But when people look around and they say, well, they got that over in LA. They have that in Dallas. They have, and so much evidence that they see is like, well, I don't want that. I don't want 4,500 yards and a first round exit. That doesn't mean it's how it would play in Philly, But I think it's hard when the burden of proof is so against you and you look around and you're just like, man, everybody's focused on the wrong shit. Like, I'll ask every Eagle fan, what would you rather have? I'll ask you, Sills. What would you rather have? 3,000 yards passing and a Super Bowl ring, or 4,500 yards and you get bounced? The answer is pretty simple.
See, it's an easy answer.
Right. And that's the kind of the point. It's rhetorical. It's an easy answer. So I think that's where people come from when they go to the nth degree to defend them. But again, if you block out all of the other noise, all of the other teams, which essentially don't have an impact on the Eagles, and you say, how do the Philadelphia Eagles go the distance this year? How did they get better from what they did last year? To me, the answer is simple. But again, that conflicts with, the appreciation and in some areas, the love affair that people have with the quarterback, which I understand. I don't subscribe to, but I understand.
All right, let me ask you this question. Who do you think fans in Philadelphia think more of in your 2 Super Bowl wins? No, your Super Bowl appearances with the Jalen Hurts era. You think more Eagle fans think of Lane Johnson being a more integral part, or Hurts being more of an integral part? Really?
I think Hurts because of the severity of the position. I mean, I think if you ask anybody, if Lane's not on that field, they ain't doing anything. Well, I don't disagree with that. But I think you could also say if Jalen Hurts wasn't on the field, they might not do it too, right? Well, here, let me go to that then. So, I went back and I did some research here, and I picked an obscure guy. And I picked Joe Flacco. So Joe Flacco's first 5 years starting in pro football, won a Super Bowl, 9-4 in the playoffs, 54-26. Jalen Hurts' first 5 years, 56-22 and 6-4 in the playoffs. Albeit they got the 2, both guys Super Bowl MVPs. What do you make of Joe Flacco as a player in this league? Remember the debate? I remember a debate when I was in high school. Is Joe Flacco an elite quarterback? It was a massive debate. Remember? People used to debate that. Yeah. Maybe we're in the same boat now with Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen has the ability to improve the course. But yeah, I think it's a fine comp. I have no problem with that. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco was a Super Bowl MVP, wasn't he? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Well, see, here's my point. I don't really think Hurts has ever been the best player in his own huddle. Like ever, since he's been a player in Philly. And I think sometimes my problem maybe with others are, how are you debating giving that guy all the credit on the planet? I get the quarterback. I totally understand that. I get that. But, bro, Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown are the catalyst in that offense. Yeah, but I agree. But do you also agree this? That doesn't mean you just the quarterback is not important. Okay. You can say Jalen wasn't the best player in the huddle, but the quarterback is still an integral part. Okay, by default, it's the game that we all watch. That's the game. Okay, that's fair enough. But who do you think was the most important player in the Cowboy huddle? Emmett, Michael, or Troy? Probably Emmett, right? Yeah. Who would you say was second? I'd probably lean Troy, but I guess many will say Michael. Michael. I'd probably lean Troy, though. Would you not? No. Now, is that because you're boys with Michael Irvin, which I understand? A little bit of that. He's been on your show many a times. A little bit of that. A little bit of that. Yeah. Okay, and I'm a little biased there, so I will not hide that. But I don't ever remember saying this. I think by the way, he's a 3-time Super Bowl champion. I think Troy Aikman's a little underrated. Could be. I do. He was an extremely accurate quarterback. I think he did the most important thing of any quarterback that somebody like Dan Marino could never do. And this goes a little bit on what Jalen does, and there's a lot of similarities between Aikman and Jalen Hurts. Aikman had to compromise yards and touchdowns to play in that offense. When you're giving 30 carries a game to Emmitt Smith, bro, there's only 60 plays in the building, and you got 4 other guys, and you got a guy that's carrying the mail and had 20,000 rushing yards counting the playoffs.
Who you riding? I'm riding that pony, bro.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm not, there were games that Troy Aikman had 15 passing attempts. You know what they used to say? This guy sucks. He can't throw the ball to save his life. All of a sudden, you get him in a big game, guy wins the Super Bowl MVP. Okay? And you're like, holy shit. So Aikman could be one of the more underrated, but I look at where they are as a coaching staff. Here's the difference why I think Dallas got 3 Super Bowls, Zander, and you won't. They kept the same coaching staff intact, except for the head coach. Do you know when Jimmy left and was fired? Do you know every single offensive coach on that team stayed?
That's amazing.
O-line coach Tony Wise stayed. The wide receiver coach stayed. They were all my coaches at Miami. They all stayed with Barry Switzer. Barry never brought one guy in as a coaching staff. They kept everyone in. Because you know why?
Amazing.
They didn't want anybody to screw. They didn't want Switzer to screw it up. The entire staff.
Well, how do you view Switzer?
I view Switzer as a guy that said, I'm not coming in here and fuck it up.
But do you view him in the same way that you view who's the San Francisco? I'm blanking on his name. The San Francisco George Seifert.
George Seifert, yeah. Don't fuck it up.
And that's how you view Nick.
Yeah. Don't fuck. Now, here's the deal, though.
The only difference is Nick didn't inherit a fucking dynasty.
Well, correct. But here's my problem with Nick. Nick has no answer. Nick has no answers.
I don't disagree with that. He hasn't shown an ability to have good answers. But again, I'll say this to everybody.
He does win.
Hindsight is 20/20. When you're a business or you're a team or you're an individual and you do something that brings you overwhelming amounts of success to the nth degree, you don't wake up the next day and abandon. Now, that's not to say they maybe shouldn't have adjusted quicker. That's not to say that they did everything perfect. I'm just saying they have now, but they didn't last year. And that was one of the criticisms, that they didn't adjust. And again, if you have that level of success, it's not that easy to just say, let's abandon it and do something different. You'd be like, wait a second, bro, this brought us pretty unbelievable success. That's all.
Do you think what they're doing this year is because they're trying to make up for lost time? And what I mean by that is this, Zander. Instead of increasing the quarterback's skill and his ability 5 to 7% every year, Kellen Moore didn't make Jalen better in 24. They didn't really make him better in 25. And they're trying to condense it in one season by doing all these dramatic changes. That's a lot to ask for a quarterback where you've got to try to change 20% of your game.
It is.
Okay? Let's just say that they're not going to go full in and have a Sean McVay offense, okay? Let's just say, you want this quarterback to improve 25%? Tom Brady said the most he ever improved every year is like at most 7% increment.
Yeah, that's not happening.
But I think they're trying to make up for lost time here by not developing him.
I know, but all right. I'm gonna play an extreme here, and the listeners right now will not like it. But you've comped a lot to the Dallas Cowboys right now, the 90s Cowboys, the dynasty of the 90s Cowboys. And I want everybody to be as real with themselves as they possibly can. And I'm not saying this is happening. I'm just saying that the potential of it is right there. How long did the Cowboys dynasty last? One of the greatest dynasties. 5 years?
Question. Well.
They won what? 3 straight? Was it 93, 94, 95?
Yeah. Now remember though, they played an additional 7 years after Jimmy left as a group.
And how much success?
Well, coaching changed. The environment and the coaching staff changed.
Coaching changed.
The players are still there.
Players got older.
Okay.
The salary cap, it was a different era.
Different era.
I'm just saying, if you look, you can kind of see some similarities to the Eagles. A lot of coaching turnover, massive coaching turnover every year.
But they never hired but in
players
Dallas,
that aren't playing to the same level.
But in Dallas, Jimmy made sure every single player got the best coaching that he could possibly put in front of those guys. Do you believe the Eagles do that for your offensive guys? I think you're doing that on defense.
I think they try. I mean, they let a lot of guys go on defense too.
Not the last 2 years.
I mean, dude, sometimes the hardest thing is admitting when, the players aren't the same right now on offense. They're not.
No. They're overrated.
3 years ago, it was the greatest offense on turf in terms of talent.
They're overrated right now.
Very hard word. If you still think
hard word, they're overrated.
If you still think it's the 22 young gun Eagles, yeah, they're overrated.
Okay.
But again, I've been pretty real with you about my thoughts on AJ Brown all summer.
Okay, well, how about this? Okay, you're overrated and overpaid. Those are two places you don't want to be if you're Howie, right?
Yeah, and again, my comp of the Cowboys, I know people aren't going to like it, but Cowboys went downhill when the O-line was aged. Oh, who's that sound like? Cowboys went downhill when they lost Jimmy Johnson and the coaching staff turned over. Oh, who's that sound like?
But they got more out of their talent than you getting out of yours.
Well, they won 3.
Right.
We got 1. We got 1, and we're hanging our hat in an appearance.
Don't you think?
Wait, that's the other thing. All of a sudden, Philadelphia is happy with second place.
Now, listen. See, look, that's why I do this every day. I think you are and had the talent to be the Cowboys of your era and to be a 3-4 kind of team. Do you understand, Zander? That's what I thought you were going to be, the 3 and 4 years, or 2 and 4 years. I thought you were going to be that, okay? Didn't you think that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you still think that?
What, that they can go and win multiple?
Still.
I think they can, but they got to do a lot of things right, is my point. The Cowboys dynasty didn't work. Why? Why did it really stop? It's because Jimmy, like you said, they won one with Barry, but Barry didn't do what Jimmy did, dude.
No.
Once Barry took over, it was Jerry Jones doing the town.
That's right. Hiring coaches.
It all changed.
Hiring coaches. Jimmy hired all the coaches.
Slowly, it eroded.
Don't you think you lack leadership on offense at the coaching level?
Yeah, I do. I don't think Kevin Patullo did that. I don't think Nick Sirianni does that, to be frank. I don't think – does Jalen Hurts do it to the level you need him to do it?
You know
what? He did in 24.
If Jalen does it by his winning, that's a form of leadership too, showing up and putting up.
I agree 100%.
Okay? I mean, if that guy's not as vocal, but he wins a ton of games, I'm going to do this. All right, well, he's just not a vocal guy, but a guy goes out and wins 70% of his football games. I'm going to go like this. Yeah, well, I watch him on Sundays, and the guy somehow puts
but here's the pushback on that, because you don't like to give Nick much credit because you put a lot of it on Howie. Well, when you're the quarterback and the running game stops working to the same level, don't people, I mean, if you're being honest with themselves, shouldn't the quarterback bear some of that response? Now, if you want to make yourself feel good and say it's all Kevin Patullo, be my guest. You can do that. You can say it's all coaching. I'm not saying you in general. I'm just saying people in general. If you want to say it's all coaching, the reason that the passing game has sucked for 2 years, then you can take that route. I happen to think when it doesn't work over there or the running game stops, that's when the quarterback has to make up for some of that loss. I don't really believe he's answered that call in the last 2 years. And when he did answer it, it wasn't pretty.
Let me ask you about coaching here. Do you think that Patrick Mahomes is where he is because of Andy Reid? Or do you think Andy Reid is where he is because of Patrick Mahomes?
It's a great question. I think neither of them are who they are without each other.
Do you think Jalen Hurts is where he is without Nick Sirianni? And do you think Nick Sirianni is where he is without Jalen Hurts?
And this is where you start sounding right, because I don't think either of them are who they are without Howie Roseman. I don't know what Nick would be without Jalen, and I don't know what Jalen would be without Nick. I'm certainly not going to say he wouldn't be successful. He's been successful at every stage.
What do you think?
I don't think Nick, to answer that, I don't think Nick is responsible for Jalen's success, and I don't think Jalen is responsible for all of Nick's success. But I think they've both benefited from each other greatly.
Okay, what if Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay magically, all of a sudden, hypothetically, became the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you think Sean McVay would want to coach that style of quarterback?
No, I don't think Eagle fans would be very happy.
Okay.
I mean, he had the number 1 overall draft pick in Jared Goff and traded him for the same style of offense, but a better player.
Yeah. More established player.
Yep.
A guy who could read defenses, a more experienced player.
And Jared can read defenses pretty good.
And, absolutely. And by the way, let's not forget, Stafford was 0-4 or 0-3 in the playoffs.
Yeah. So my whole point in saying that is if McVay was willing to move on from that, I mean, you don't think he would seriously?
You understand where I'm asking you here? Because again, I mean, coaches have to have answers too, dude.
I agree. I just, the only thing I disagree with is it's easy to say that they didn't have answers last year. You have to acknowledge they were coming off a year where they achieved historic success.
But
you
they
don't
didn't need
abandon that at the first sign of. But
they didn't need answers last year.
In 24, you mean?
They had only one time in the season, which was a catastrophic move, or which was a meteoric move. That was in the bye.
But that's a credit too, no?
It is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But it was the only time that they questioned their abilities, was going into that bye. After that, you and I have even said this. After that bye, Zander, if you go back and look at it, the rest of the league was never really in it. I mean, they were never in it.
Yeah, the Eagles beat the brakes off a lot of teams.
Let's do the supers, my friend.
Here we go. Here's Ramir. What's up, Ramir? Only have a couple today. Who cares if he wasn't the best? We can win with him. Yeah. I don't think
I agree.
I think Sileo.
If you can win with Joe Flacco and you can win with Sam Darnold, you can win with anybody.
I don't think you've ever denied that.
No.
Certainly not recently. Intern says, Sirianni has no identity. He leans on the OC, so the offense flips every year. That's why it's unstable. Don't hire your friends. Intern, I'm sorry, but that's a crock of shit, dude. They've had a similar offense since 2022. You can say it's not, but it has been.
It's more based on the run game.
The only time they've ever flaked on that Sirianni identity that you say doesn't exist was in 2024 when they damn near fired Nick at the bye week because they were anemic the first 4 weeks and they bailed on the Kellen Moore offense.
Correct.
So what identity did they fall back on, intern?
No.
It wasn't Kellen Moore's identity, that's for sure. Look at his offense in Dallas and look at it in New Orleans now.
High volume passing.
I disagree that he has zero identity. Mac is open says, wait, real quick, one more thing. So how do you go to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years with 2 different coordinators and 2 entirely new coaching staffs around him if he's got no identity?
And defensive coordinator.
Really? You think we just hit the coordinator lottery 2 times in 3 years? And by the way, all those coordinators who left haven't really had all that much success in other places.
Nope.
I mean, come on, man. Mac is open says, I saw something online that said maybe Jalen is leaking the news about himself to the media. No.
Why would he want to bring heat on him, man? Not happening.
Harv says, last one. Harv says, it's important to remember that when the Eagles are successful, they're able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides. Expect to lose without it. I agree.
I do too. Here's one last one here, see.
WP says, Sills got to start mentioning Joe Gibbs in the same breath as Jimmy Johnson.
I think Gibbs is a little bit more of an offensive savant because he did it with 3 different quarterbacks. He did it with Theismann, Rippon, and Doug Williams. And I think Bobby Beathard, the one thing, like Gary Cobb's coming up here, Gary Cobb knows. You know who the Bobby Beathard is of today? It is Howie. Bobby Beathard is the Howie Roseman of today. Bobby Beathard, Zander, was with the Dolphins, and they built those teams that won 3 AFC championships and 2 Super Bowls in a row, and one of those teams was undefeated. Bobby Beathard was the head of personnel. He leaves the Dolphins. He goes to the Washington Redskins at the time. They win 3 Super Bowls there with Joe Gibbs, and the head of personnel was Bobby Beathard.
Yeah. That's the same Joe Gibbs that has the NASCAR team, right? Joe Gibbs Racing, yeah.
Yes, yeah. No coincidence. The guy's a winner in everything he touches.
It's very true. Very true. All right, Sills. Good show, man.
We will catch you in the morning on Birds. Thank you, bro.
Listen, good conversation today. I think all valid points, but we will see ultimately what happens. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
You got it, man. We'll see you in the morning there on Birds 365. Make sure you catch it there. Boy, I couldn't wait for Cobb to. I mean, what a week it was. I mean, last week, there were article after article coming out on Jalen Hurts. And before I go to Gary Cobb here, I want to read him one last one. I got another one here. Cobb, here's a new headline. Guy that played your position, Levante David. When playing the Eagles, we tried to make Jalen Hurts beat us because we knew the passing game couldn't. That's a guy who's going to be considered for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 14 years, 4th all-time in tackles in pro football history, making that comment. Without further ado, man from Fox 29 in Philadelphia, our dear friend from a long, long time. And by the way, my man, Bobby Valentine, was on with me this weekend on Sports Grid. Wanted to make sure that I said hello to another Stanfordite, and that is my friend Cobb. And he joins us right now here on the program. Cobb, how you doing? Bobby V said hi, man.
Well, you let him know I said hello as well.
Man, he loves you, man.
Yeah.
He said
Bobby
this. He did say this. He said,
yeah,
I know Cobb played football a long time, but he'd have played longer in baseball if he had decided to stick with it. He said Cobb would have been a guy with Springer. Springer's a Connecticut guy. He said he'd have been a 14-year Major League Baseball guy. You know who he compared you to? He said you would have been like Ken Griffey Sr. Somebody like that if you played.
I would have enjoyed it, sometimes I think about it. You better believe it. I'm looking at this baseball game. I'm going, but hey, things happen, whatever. You keep on moving. But at times I do think about it because I played more baseball than I did.
You did.
Yeah. So,
Cobb, you were known in Stanford. Ernie was known as the hoopster. Mm-hmm. You were known more. Me growing up, I knew you more as a baseball guy. I knew you were a hell of a linebacker, but I knew you more as a baseball guy back then.
No.
Well, you know what though, Gary?
Oh, Stanford though. Come on,
Stanford, right? Stanford's a baseball, right? Stanford's a baseball town, right?
It's a baseball town. That's right.
What'd you make of all the noise last week on Jalen Hurts?
Well, there's some things that are true. At times, I think just going back to throwing the ball. Sometimes Jalen is, and I don't know all things are going right through his mind and everything, but he holds on to the ball sometimes. You're going, man, let it go. Now, part of that though is something that you can appreciate and you can see. This has been in his career too, which is he knows to him, and I will give him credit for this. It's all about winning with Jalen. So he knows if he doesn't turn over the ball, especially if they got a good defense, the defense playing well, he knows if he doesn't turn over the ball, they're probably going to win the game. Even if it's a slow scoring game. Now, I've been around a lot of quarterbacks, man. And I'm used to quarterbacks who are saying, I want stats. They want to throw for 400 yards, That's what most quarterbacks are. They'll say, they might, say to somebody publicly, try to act like, oh, no, I don't. No, they want stats. They want to be the center of attention. With Jalen, it is about winning. Because he knows if they win, everything will take care of itself. So he doesn't care if he throws for 95 yards. But at the same time, sometimes he can be too reluctant to where, guys are open. And I think that's one of the things with him and AJ. AJ say, look, man, well, come on. How many wide receivers do you know that say, well, I was covered?
Right, no, right, none.
Were you open? Were you open? Yeah, man, I was wide open. There could be 3 guys on him if you look at the tape. So I think that there is some truth about the fact that, he can get, stubborn about doing things a certain way. But one of the big things is he will hold on to the ball. Come on, we've seen him do it. Throw the ball away, and really not take chances. But I think part of that is that he knows that the teams that win don't turn over the ball. And you know who he gets this from all the time, which is Nick. Nick knows, hey, you win the turnover battle, usually you win the game. So that's part of it. And, sometimes with Jalen, throwing the ball over the middle where he can go too far. And I can understand that, that the receivers that have played with him have gotten frustrated. Because, dude, I'm open. You didn't see me. Come on, I ran the route, man. It was wide open. And sometimes he'll be too reluctant. He'll be, he doesn't want to throw the ball over the middle and get the ball picked off and everything. So some of that's true. Now, with regards to the offense and
how about him not wanting to be coached and more difficult to coach and all that?
Well, I think that there's some truth to it. I think there definitely is, because especially if you're a quarterback, you're sitting there with a Super Bowl ring and you got some guy here going,
yeah.
Hey, what have you ever done?
I agree with that.
Guy comes in there telling you, you need to do this. Dude, you haven't done anything in this league, Now, this could be the case here that's coming up here, Sean Mannion is going to have to sell his system to him,
But Gary, why create more question marks for your quarterback to have to ask? Why can't you hire like you do on defense with quality assistants and guys? Is this more on Nick mismanaging the offensive hirings? Because we've been asking this question today. When Vic Fangio's putting a coaching staff, he gets Christian Parker, he gets Bobby King, he goes and gets Clint Hurt. He does his homework. He hires all these really great assistant coaches. I think the Eagles have maybe one of the best defensive coaching staffs. I don't know what you think, but they have one of the best coaching staffs in all of pro football on that side. I look on the other hand, I look like I'm looking at a Babe Ruth football league, or like I'm looking at like a high school football coaching staff. I'm like, who are these guys? Where have these guys ever had success? Why can't they duplicate what they do on one side of the ball?
Well, I think that's a good question. I guess it depends on really what you're trying to accomplish. You go out and just try to find the best people. And I think it depends on the way you look at it. Are you trying to get a offensive staff that fits together well, or are you trying to get the best people at each spot? Are you trying to get the best people and then see if they can work together, or do you just want to get guys that are on the same page? I think that's it depends on how you want to do it. And looking at the Eagles, I think, defensively, who's calling the shots on defense about who's going to come in here, But offensively, I think it's Nick. It's without a doubt Nick. He's the one that's deciding on who's going to come in here. And I think that for the most part, he's tried to get people that kind of like his system, like the things he likes to do offensively. So I think this is probably the first time it's changing. Because I don't think it was Nick that said, hey, we want Mannion, we're going to change our whole system. I think that was Howie and that was Jeffrey Lurie doing that.
So I think you bring up, this is something we brought up today. So I'll ask you on that side of the ball. And I'm going to ask a vague question to you. Do you believe that they mismanaged Saquon Barkley a year ago? I'm gonna bring a point up I brought this up with Zander. When I point out that people say the offensive line missed a lot of games a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, Cam Jerkins missed 2. A lot of missed 1. Steen missed 0. Landon missed 1.
Yeah.
They didn't miss a lot of games.
Yeah, but
no, I agree. I think they were hurt. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, if you're going to run a player into an offense every play, and you know that play's not going to work, isn't that on the coaching staff to try to get that player in space and have answers to try to get that player in space?
Look,
how do you think they handled Barkley a year ago?
I agree with you. You know, I think, you know, running the same plays, we're not successful, giving the ball to him on these different, you know, counter plays that they like to run and everything. It wasn't working. And I agree with you. Just give him a screen and get him out in some space. You know, you can't, you know, if it's not working that way. Really, the thing with Saquon is you just want to get him the ball out in some space so he can be himself. You know, because a lot of times he's going to break a tackle. He's going to run most of the guys out there. So I agree that they could have done more of that. They just kept running the same running plays that they ran a year ago, and they weren't working. The offensive line was not good enough to be blocking, because a lot of times Saquon was getting tackled in the backfield. He wasn't even getting a chance. The times when he did get, you know, downfield a little bit, you know, he could make something out of it. But so many plays he got tackled in the backfield. I mean, it was ridiculous. And I was wondering, I mean, come on, throw him a screen, get him out in some open space. Because, and I think they need to try to do things this year to try to do that. Look, everything, you know, so what you didn't hand the ball off to him? We don't care. If he got the ball out open space, the defense is going to have a problem with that, because he's going to break. I mean, with a lot of the DBs, they don't want to tackle him. And then, you know, there's so many other guys he's just going to outrun. So you want to get him out there in some open space and stuff. But it was really frustrating. I mean, the offensive line, and come on. That's why they've made a change on the offensive line, because it was just, it was putrid. It was horrible.
I'm going to ask you another one here on AJ.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you think they mismanaged AJ last year? And I'll explain here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I watch the rest of the wide receivers in the NFL, I see them moving these guys all over the place. The slot,
right.
the Y, the Z, and this and that.
Yep.
Is that AJ not wanting to move into multiple spots being moved? Or is that the offensive coaching staff that doesn't move him around? Every time I watch the games, Gary, he's lined up wide left, nowhere else.
Yep.
I know where I'm going to get him.
That's right.
They don't do a good enough job at putting him in a position also on mismatches. Is that him or is that coaching?
Now, I think that's the reason you got the coaching change you had. I think that's it right there, which is they would not change anything. Running the same old, you know, dull stuff that's easy for other teams to defense. They know where your best players are going to be. One of the things you want to do is move them around. My goodness, I don't know why they didn't do more of that. Now, you better believe that's why, you know, AJ leaving here before the season starts or whatever it is. I'm going like, there's no way, because, you know, Sean Mannion, one of the big things, he wants to coach AJ Brown. He's the kind of guy you want to get in here and be able to utilize him and move him around the same way the Rams do, the 49ers do. Their best people, they move them around. I mean, and you know, from a defensive standpoint, when they're moving a guy around, and especially, you know, with a team like the Eagles, where they don't just have one receiver. You got two outstanding receivers. So right there, that puts your defense in a situation where you can't just look at one guy. You know, they've got a number of guys, but I think that's the reason for the firing of the offensive coordinator is, come on. You don't move guys around. You're not creative with anything. And that was one of the things that really just, it was frustrating me, that you're running the same dumb plays and the other team knows what you're running. I mean, you got to be able to be creative. And I think that that's what you're going to see. And that's why letting go of A.J. Brown now during the offseason, I'm going like, you've got, let's say this, you know how kids back in school, you know, they're having this experiment. Well, this is the experiment the Eagles have here, to get Sean Mannion in here. But the thing you want to do is you want to have the talent their best talent. You don't want to say goodbye to A.J. Brown. No, we want you to play in this offense. Let's see what it looks like. Now, if it doesn't work, okay. But I think one of the things you want to do is you wanted to see Sean Mannion's offense, which is really the offense that the Rams are running. Of course, they do all kind of different things. Really, it's like from game to game, they have new stuff. Every game, they got new things they're showing the other team. Whereas for years with the Eagles, running the same offense, line up in the same formation, run the same pattern. I mean, that's the reason they made a change. And I think that I know with Nick, that this is what he knows, and they're just running the same thing. But I think Jeffrey Lurie, I think Howie and them, they had enough of it. They're going like, look, why don't we do some of the things these other teams are doing? And so,
but let me ask you this though. Okay,
yeah,
and I agree. I think that's where you are.
Mm-hmm.
But then my pushback to you, Gary, is I'm going to follow up and go, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. We're 50-18 the last 4 years. And on top of that, we won 2 NFC title games and a Super Bowl. And you know what? All these other guys, they can have their fancy cars and their fancy suits and all.
Yeah.
I show up in my jeans and in my blue collar outfit, and I go out and whip your ass every Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, at the end of the day here, man, is it more about how it looks, or is it more about the results here in Philadelphia? I mean, because and get this, here's the final one. Your benchmark and your floor is 11 wins. The New York Jets would kill for that.
I know.
If they ever had 11 wins. I mean,
it's all about winning. It's all about winning.
But they are winning.
Well, are they? We know that. Come on, they're on a different level than other teams.
Okay, and I agree.
I mean, because they won the Super Bowl, just like when you look at Kansas City, okay? Because the Eagles are up on that level. That people are looking at them. Like with Kansas City, if they don't win the Super Bowl, there's nobody celebrating. They could have went to the playoffs. They could have made it to the Super Bowl and lose it. They go, wasn't a good year. So the Eagles are up. They're being judged up on that level. And that's why, fine, they went to the playoffs. People's going, all anybody ever comes up to me and says something about the Eagles now is, crap. Look what happened during the Super Bowl. During the playoffs. They were horrible, man, blah, blah, blah. They're not talking about, well, they had a pretty good season. They won 11 games. Nobody's talking about any 11 games because that's not really much for the Eagles. This crew right here, they're judged by what they do in the playoffs. They're that good of a team. That's the way this is judged now. It's not about winning 11 games. If you were to ask Eagles fans now, we could win another 11 games and make it to the playoffs, and then we're out again. Nobody would want that.
Yeah, but with that mentality, that means Nick's obsolete. Because no matter what Nick does, if you think like that, Nick's ass is on the job. His job's on the line every year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, he really has put the standard up there. Come on. What has it been? 5 or 6 years? He's been to 2 Super Bowls. Not one, been to 2. So he's judged on a higher plane. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. They are not. Nobody would be happy. In fact, if the Eagles had won one playoff game and then got beaten in another one, let's say they make it to the second round and they get beat. Nobody would be happy with that. Nobody would be saying, well, we had a good year. No, that's not a good year because they set the bar so high that they're judged on a higher level than other teams and other organizations. And right now, I'm telling you, there's nothing that they can do that's going to get people happy unless they go and win the Super Bowl.
Gary, I'm going to give you a couple more here, and I'm going to ask you this. These people in here know who this is, but I want to ask you, and I'm going to give you 2 guesses.
Mm-hmm.
In his first 5 years, this player won 54 games, lost 26, is 9-4 in the playoffs, was a Super Bowl MVP. Who is he? By the way, for the record, Jalen Hurts is 56-22 and 6-4 in the playoffs. This player here is 54-26, 9-4 in the playoffs, and has a Super Bowl MVP. Who is he?
Oh man, who is that? Is it Patrick?
Okay, one more guess.
Who would that be? Okay, so you got somebody. Oh goodness.
Been in the playoffs every year, his first 5 years. 9-4 in the postseason, Super Bowl MVP.
Well, whoever's got to be somebody like on a Hall of Fame level. I don't know. Who you talking about?
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco had that. He had the stats. Well, yeah, I could see that. Okay, got Joe Flacco.
Those great Baltimore teams, they had Ray and Ed and them guys.
That's right. Wow. So Joe Flacco did that much winning, huh?
Yeah. My point is,
yeah,
you don't really have to be exceptional at the quarterback position to win. You got to be competent at that position to win. You agree?
I think that's true. Yeah, you got to take care of the football, and you got to play smart football. But yeah, I guess if you got good people around you, you're running the football well, and that is a big part of winning, which is are you running the football well
and defending the run and defending the run
and defending the run. That's right. You're winning in those two areas, and you got a quarterback that plays smart, taking care of the football. You're going to win. Boy, that says a lot, man. Woo.
How about this comment that was made last week? According to Jeff McManus of the Jeff McClain of the Inquirer, he said that the Eagles have no intentions of extending Jalen Hurts at this time. What'd you make of that?
Well, I think that they want to take a look and they want to see him playing in this offense, and I think that knowing the Eagles, they're thinking about what if,
Who's more on the hot seat this year, in your opinion, Hurts or Sirianni?
I think they're both on it, but maybe Hurts more. I mean, when you look at the deal, maybe Hurts more than Sirianni, and I think that they're definitely going to be looking at him now. I would really like to see. The backup, the young kid, the backup quarterback,
Tanner McKee.
I'd love to see, the discussion about him. How do they feel about him? I mean, you went out, you got a veteran, you got the old man in there, who knows if you were to trade him, see. But I think it would be interesting to see, how they really feel. I would love to have, a mic in one of those rooms where they're really in there talking, where it's just them talking in there as to who they feel. They said, hey, look, and I could see where, if let's say, if Jalen were to struggle and the kid looks more comfortable in this offense, even though I think that, Jalen is going to, he is going to get his shot to see what he can do. And I think he is the quarterback,
Two last ones here for you. Have you changed your opinion on the AJ meter? Do you think he's on this team start of September, or do you think he's gone?
I think he's going to be on the team because I don't think anybody's going to give the Eagles what they want.
Well, here, I want you to think about that, what you just said.
But
I don't think they're going to get a one next year for him.
I would probably agree.
Okay. So this might be the most you get for him.
Now, that would be very interesting if they do that. They could do that where eventually they get to the point where, you know what? This is probably the most we're ever going to get for him.
Because the Patriots told me that they've offered a 2 and 3. Obviously, the Eagles want a 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody's budged. Draft is in 17 days.
Yeah.
A lot could be determined. June 1's coming up as well. Who's going to panic? Okay. And especially if Baltimore goes out, not Baltimore, if Buffalo goes out and hires another wide receiver like they did. They've already brought one in, or they draft the top guy.
Yeah.
I think it's got a lot to do with what in New England, what Buffalo does. Because if Buffalo keeps adding more components to Josh Allen's offense, don't you think the Patriots have to like match what's going on? Because as you know, Gary, the number one thing you have to do is win your division.
That's right. That's right. So that, I mean, definitely does make sense. And you know, they're looking over there at what they're doing without a doubt. So I could see that. And, you know, he kind of moves up the ante more to where they say, well, they'd be willing to give up more. But, you know, and I guess in certain ways, I'm kind of hoping it's not so much what I think is I'm hoping that they keep him here to play in this offense, because if he would flourish in this offense, what are you getting rid of him now for? You had him all this time, and you finally go out and you got a system that he's going to flourish in, and now you're going to get rid of him, you know.
I got one last one here for you.
But if you get a lot, you know, if you get a lot in a deal, I guess that's worth it.
Will the Eagles draft a quarterback in day 2 or 3? Or none at all?
I think they're going to draft a quarterback. Probably, I'll say day 2.
Woo!
Yeah, you know, and of course
that's second and third round.
He's got to be there. He's got to be there. You know, and you know what? When I think about some of the other needs, they probably won't do that. It'll probably be later.
Day 3.
It'll probably be day 3. Because, you know, they have some other needs that really need to be taken care of. Like I really think they're going to get a tight end, you know, because they want to change kind of the way they're running this offense. So they're going to get a tight end. But, you know, initially, they're going to get an offensive lineman. That first pick is going to be one of those tackles, I think. Or they get the kid, the guard from Penn State. You know, they're going to get offensive lineman. And then after that, they're going to draft a defensive lineman, because this is the way that they think. You know, they're going to address the lines first. After that, you know, like I said about the tight end and things, and they'll address some of the other positions. But later on, they don't have they don't have the time and with the situation they're in, they're not going to be drafting.
Could you see them drafting a wide receiver in day 2 or 3?
Now, I could see that. Yes, I could see that. You know, depending on this whole thing with AJ and everything, I could definitely see them drafting a wide receiver. Let's say in day 2. You know, if you know, because I think that if they get the right offer, you know, they will maybe they'll say see you to AJ. If they
all
get
right,
the right
Cobb, final one here. Me and you are both Connecticut guys. UConn, Michigan tonight. National championship game. You and I, you know,
Woo!
We love the Connecticut guys, man. Dan Hurley's in there, but that Michigan team,
I know,
they beat the brakes off Arizona, didn't they?
I couldn't go against. I think Michigan. You know, I'd like to see UConn winning, but I go with Michigan. I think they're going to win it. You know, they look good, man. Woo! Hey, but what about the women, man? God,
oh yeah, UCLA.
I know. Woo!
How about Gino Auriemma and Don Staley going after one another? You see that?
Now, I understand Gino was mad. I mean, because they got beat.
No, they got worked.
They got worked. They got worked. That's a proper way to do it. And so he was mad. I understand that. But you can't blow up and start whining and stuff about, you know, you didn't come over to see me to give me a handshake before the game. Man, later for that. You guys got dogged. You know,
they did,
and that was what was bothering them, and they were rushing their shots too. You could see where they weren't setting their feet.
Yep.
And the shooting was horrible. You know, normally they're great shooters, but Gino, man, you can't be crying like that. I could see where they could do some commercials and just kill him, man.
Oh my God, that would be
like a little baby, you know.
Hey, those two doing commercials. Hey, you probably were really excited about UCLA winning, weren't you?
No, I was not. Well, I tell you what, that's, you know, see, that's what was shocking that's the first time.
I can't believe that.
That's the first time they're women. But I tell you what, USC, now that's one place when it comes to basketball. The SC has had some great women's teams, and I know they won about 5, 6, or 7.
Didn't Reggie Miller's
That's right. His
he
sister.
played there at USC?
Yeah, they had some great teams. I mean, USC had some great women's teams.
Yep.
So I was surprised that UCLA had never won any. The women had never won anyone. But
did you ever go to Pauley? Did you ever watch it? Did you ever watch UCLA USC games at Pauley?
Well, as a kid, I grew up looking at UCLA. Come on, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
right,
and all.
Right.
So I definitely, man, that's one of the things I wanted to do was to go over there to see UCLA, the basketball, because it was USC football, UCLA basketball.
Were you there when Walton? When you were playing? Was it Walton or was it Kareem?
No,
or was it Marcus Johnson? Marcus Johnson?
Yeah, it was Marcus Johnson. Yeah, Marcus Johnson. He was over there. Yeah.
So you were there for the last one for Wooden.
Yep.
Like when he was, and when you were in town and you guys were winning all them championships in football, UCLA was winding down the Wooden era, right?
That's right. That's what it was. Yep.
What a time in Los Angeles.
Yeah, those. I tell you, boy, they really had some great teams in both of those sports. I mean,
dude, UCLA was good back then too.
I know.
Did you play against Dick Vermeil when Vermeil was the head coach?
Yeah.
At UCLA?
Yes, I did. Yes, yeah. Because they beat us once. Yeah, they beat us.
Really?
Yeah, they did. They beat
you
us
had
once,
to be 3-1 against them guys.
Yeah. Well, come on, we had to beat up on UCLA, man.
So let me get this right.
Then we go over there and talk to them about it.
Wait a second. So you played in the Rose Bowl and in the Coliseum. Yep. When you played against Southern Cal, or when Southern Cal played UCLA.
That's right.
That was, and those places were packed. They're not packed anymore like they were back.
Right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Man, what a great era. What a great era of sports and what a great era of football, too.
Mm-hmm.
My friend, thank you so much, G. Cobb. I appreciate you very much.
Hey, have a good one.
You got it. Gary Cobb, Fox 29. Let me get Marshall here. Don't get mad, Sills. That coaching staff was stupid. That's why they are fired. Now, sorry to me. For what? Nick Sirianni's 50 and hey, wait a minute. If your boy's 50 and 18, Nick Sirianni's 50 and 18. Go hand in hand, don't they? Oh, let me guess. It's more about Jalen and his inabilities to be able to throw the freaking football. That died. Hey, you guys dance around the number one thing every single week, and it's so wonderful. They're changing everything because the quarterback stinks. Cheryl Miller was incredible. She really was. Cheryl Miller was incredible as a player. Absolutely true. Come on, Big Marsh. Big Marsh don't want to admit it. Hey, Nick with that same stupid coaching staff is 50 and 18 also. Let me get it. He don't get any love either, right? He don't get any either. Yeah, Jerry Robinson was on that UCLA team that ended up getting drafted by the Eagles. He was a hell of a player. Remember the big O Oscar Robertson? Dr. J? Well, Oscar Robertson, when he was with the Cincinnati Royals, then he got moved to Milwaukee. Remember, Jabbar never won anything in Milwaukee until they got Oscar. And then when they moved Jabbar to Los Angeles, he didn't win shit until Magic showed up. So he needed a point guard. And he needed a guy to move the chains for him, so to speak. G. Cobb's always great, man. Yes, sir. I told you guys, when I grew up, Gary Cobb, when I was a little tiny kid, and Gary Cobb was playing at Stanford High School, I thought I was going to go to Stanford High School, but I ended up going to Catholic High. And Gary Cobb, his brother Ernie, I told you guys, you know who Ernie Cobb is, right? Ernie Cobb was on the BC points shaving scandal. He was the point guard on that team. And Ernie Cobb in Stanford was the all-time leading scorer in the state of Connecticut. I think him or Calvin Murphy was the all-time leading scorer. I can't remember. May have been Calvin Murphy. Calvin Murphy was a little bit before my time. He went to, I think, Norwalk. Either Norwalk or Brian McMahon. And And Calvin Murphy, Hall of Fame basketball player, played in the same conference I did. He was a little older than me. Little older. But Ernie Cobb, he went to Niagara. That's right. But when Ernie Cobb was in high school, he played in the FCIAC where I played. And he played in either Norwalk. Where did Calvin Murphy play? I got to get that right. It's driving me crazy. Where did Calvin Murphy play? Is Calvin Murphy, what high school? He played on them Houston Rockets teams. Man, I love Calvin. Yeah, he's from Norwalk. Let's see here. What high school did he play? He went to Norwalk High. Yeah. He played at Niagara. He's a second rounder. And now he's a basketball Hall of Famer. Made the Parade All-American team. Yeah, he's way older than me. He came out in 1966 in high school. Was an All-American in college in 68. I know Calvin Murphy very well. Played with Elvin Hayes back in the day. Dude, he was a great player, man. Okay? He was a great basketball player. Oh, absolutely. He's got records till this day. Scored like 73 points, 80 points. Yeah, it was like, and then Ernie Cobb, Gary's brother, honest to God, was on that point shaving scandal Boston College team. He was on that BC point skate. Now he's a coach in Arizona. He coaches out of high school. And he's a teacher in high school. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Paul, how come they're changing everything? Hey, wait, no, not Pump. Hey, Marsh, why they changing everything? A winning coach and a winning quarterback. Why are they changing everything? It's kind of perplexing. Why are they changing? What's the problem? What's going on? How come the Eagles are changing up their entire coaching staff on offense? You guys won a lot. Your benchmark's 11 wins. Well, wait a minute. Is this predictable? Mike Tyson's going to take his right hand, or Joe Frazier is going to take his right hand, and he's going to throw hooks. Is that not predictable? It could be as predictable as ever. If you can't stop it, it don't matter if it's predictable. Okay? I mean, if you can't stop predictability if it's winning. It's a good take. Eventually, Tyson got knocked out. Okay? Maybe that's what made Ali so great, was the fact that he was unpredictable in the ring. He'd go rope-a-dope. He could jab with you. He could go power with you. You never really knew what Ali was going to do in the ring. As a matter of fact, that's a great take, because George Foreman was all power and a great jab. Ali was all of it. Great jab, power, could dance, could take a hit. Maybe that's what made him so great during his era, was that he was multiple. He could take punches. He could jab. He could power punch. It's probably what made him the legend he was. Yeah. Remember watching Smoking Joe work out for 25 cents at the Cloverleaf Gym. I'll tell you what, Charlie, I had a chance to interview him when he was in Vegas with Muhammad. It was him and it was Ken. I played football. I got a great picture of me and Ken Norton Jr. And I played football in Dallas with Ken Norton Jr. And I don't know where Ken's a linebacker coach now. And his pop came into like Vegas. I can't remember. Me and Crawford Kerr were there, and Ken Norton Jr. met us. His pop was in Vegas. They had some big event where they were getting all the heavyweights together. They had Larry Holmes and Ali and Senior. And I remember I went with, and I met and saw Ken Jr. there. His dad popped in. It was always great to see his dad. His dad was a great heavyweight. And he talked about Ernie Shavers and all. Just a really great dude, man. Absolutely. Just a really great, tremendous. Jim McMahon won a Super Bowl, went 60-30, and was 6-4 in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts. Absolutely. You don't have to be exceptional at that position to win a Super Bowl. You just don't. How does Buffalo expect to win the draft? How does Buffalo expect to win drafting a guy from Wyoming? What does Wyoming play? Northern Idaho State, the Fighting Whiteys. Well, Patrick Mahomes played at Texas Tech. He had a losing record there. They didn't win shit there, and they got destroyed in the Big 12. So you're not going to draft Patrick Mahomes because he went to Texas Tech? Can you name me another guy? I can. As a matter of fact, I posted a picture of me sacking Billy Joe Tolliver. That's the last quarterback I can remember coming out of Texas Tech, not named Patrick Mahomes, was Billy Joe Tolliver. I sacked that guy. I hurt that guy, actually. Seals, if they are going into a rebuild, it would be easier with an established quarterback. Are they changing to see if Hurts is the long-term solution? Probably. I would say a little bit of that. Oh, that's one of my favorite names. Cassius Marcellus Clay. Dude, it's like Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor. I think Lou Alcindor's cooler than Kareem. And I think Cassius Marcellus Clay is a cool name too. Imagine that. Ali's real name is Cassius Marcellus Clay. I don't even know a dude named Cassius. And Jabbar's name was Lou Alcindor. I don't care if you run the same pass every play and every time for the whole half. To go the whole half without one completion twice and many other games with few completions, something's wrong with the quarterback. Man, yes. Something's wrong with the quarterback, you think? Hey, by the way, Jerry, that's great. Can you imagine Josh Allen not completing a pass for an entire half? I mean, hey, dude, I get it if you're playing Army versus Navy. And you're in a game like that where nobody throws the football but 7 times. Okay? But if you're in an NFL game and you have no completions with 2 dudes that make $50 million, there's clearly a problem. It's ridiculous. You complain that the offense is inept. Then they change the offense, and you're complaining that they changed the offense. You can't win with you. Okay. Yeah, because you didn't change the run thing that had to be changed, the quarterback. I don't give a shit if you change the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, the passing game coordinator. If you got the same guy doing it, Jalen Hurts can't be fixed. That's the topic. You think Jalen can be fixed? Come on, Marsh. You think Jalen can be fixed? I don't. We're year 7. We're year 7. This is year 7. You're not fixing this. Only if Allen is carted off the field on the first play of the half. Steels, how come you could go and pick a dude from a small-time school in the first round? Now everyone goes to power schools. College game and nil changed everything. Yes. Here, and thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I'm going to show you guys something. Okay? Here. I'm going to show you guys this. 2025 NFL Draft. 2025 NFL Draft. Okay, here's the draft. Let's see. First round. Let's see here. I want to double check. Gary Zabel, North Dakota State. One guy in 2025. Now watch this. 2024. So that's 32. Here is 2024. How many guys from non-power fives? Let's see. Toledo, Q. Another one. So that's 64 picks. Let's do one more. Let's go 23. (2023). Let's see. Zero. Another 32. 31 because the Dolphins got fined for that Brady thing. 31. So in the last 95 picks, 2 players have been drafted from non-power 5. Are you going to draft a player coming up in the upcoming draft from a non-power 5? When only 2 players? And one of them was exceptional. The other one was marginal. And that's only going to get worse. This coming year, there'll probably be, so get this, since 2023, you'll probably get that kid from Toledo go. So you'll probably have in the last 4 years, 127 players drafted, and 3 of them will come from non-power 5. The chances of you hitting on a non-power 5 guy in the opening round are 0. 0. 3 dudes. Back when I played, kids had to stay in school, and they couldn't go to like power 5 schools and transfer. Nowadays, once again, open your ears. Jalen Hunt's a 3rd-round pick. He's not a 1st-round pick. After the 2nd round, you're going with your talent scouts and who you think's the best player available. And that might be from a smaller school. You know, you're going to take less chances with the 1st-round picks. Game was different then. He couldn't transfer. If Ben Roethlisberger played in today's college football, he wouldn't have finished his career at Miami of Ohio. He'd probably be some Big Ten school, either Ohio State or Michigan, because of the money and the fact he's a scumbag. He's not going to stay at Miami of Ohio. Why would he? Smaller schools is for later in the draft. You're not drafting kids out of like Jalen Hunt has turned out to be a good pick. Well, we think. Still have to go out and prove it. And, had a nice year a year ago, but I saw Nolan Smith have a fine year or a couple games the previous year. After the 3rd round, you're going with athleticism and traits. Probably. You're going best player available, who you think the best guy is. As a matter of fact, Piers, I'd say this. After here's the upcoming draft. Here's the upcoming draft. Mendoza's not a first pick, but he's going to go number 1, which helps. Reese, Magawa, Bailey. I don't think Jeremiah Love is a sandbox guy. I don't see anything special on him. What did he do this last year that made you think he was not Genty? He didn't play a big-time schedule. I mean, who did Notre Dame play last year? Notre Dame. 2025 Notre Dame schedule. Miami shut his ass down. He had 33 yards rushing. Let's see. They got beat by Miami. They got beat by the Aggies. So he played Purdue, a bad Arkansas team, a bad Boise team, an okay NC State team, a good Southern Cal team, a very bad Boston College team, a decent Navy team, an okay Pitt team, a horrible Syracuse team, and a horrible Stanford team. I mean, his competition level is not very big. I mean, Notre Dame doesn't play the schedule of teams they once played. They've dummied down that schedule. Not very good. I mean, I don't know. He looks like Genty to me. The kid Freeling, OT. Delaney looks like he's going up the draft. I'm telling you, here's my sandbox guys. Arvil, Reese, Magawa, Bailey, Caleb Downs, and Styles. The rest of them, sure. Who's ever there at 23? Some people have Lemon going to the Eagles. Blake Miller. These guys are all the same. Cassius Howell, short arms, not a lot of production. Concepcion, the kid from these guys are all like dudes. Proctor, I like. Sadiq's moving up the board. Omar Cooper's moving up the board. He had a good pro day. Ty Simpson, I mean, where in the world did you see him have a good year last year? And you could see the Jets taking him. This guy's a third-round pick at best. I mean, I thought he was good against OU, in OU, when they won there. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, Super Bowl MVP doesn't tell you how good a player you are. How dumb is that comment? Every time I see people say that. This guy thinks Nick Foles is some sort of generational player. Or like Doug Williams is a generational player. These guys are Super Bowl MVPs. You think Doug Williams and Jim Plunkett and Nick Foles are generational quarterbacks? They all won MVPs. That logic says no HBCU players are capable of playing. Let me tell you something about this comment here, and I agree with you. That logic says that no HBCU players are capable of playing in the NFL. Well, I'll tell you something about the HBCU players. I could go to the NFL Hall of Fame, and I would put an HBCU Hall of Fame together, and I'm telling you, with Walter Payton running the ball, Jerry Rice catching the football, These are all HBCU guys. You're trying to tell me that there's no black kids in those conferences that can't play in the NFL? Well, wait a minute. Travis Hunter started at Jackson State, and he was the second player taken. You're telling me that guy can't play in the NFL? I disagree. And the National Football League doesn't scout the HBCU schools. Okay? I'm a la machine. Mel Blount, Neas Williams, all played at HBCU schools. Robert Brazil, Art Shell, Gene Upshaw, Curly Culp, all them dudes, man. All played at HBCU schools. Jackie Slater, shit, dude. Too Tall Jones, all them guys played at HBCU. If you're saying that HBCU doesn't produce, you're out of your tree. I'm saying the NFL doesn't scout the black schools like they used to. And they don't go into those programs like they did, like Al Davis did. You think there's any coincidence that you had like Cliff Branch and Shell and Upshaw that all came out of those programs? I mean, look at the Steeler teams back in the 70s. They were many of them came from those black colleges. Okay? We had Greg Coleman on, and Greg Coleman was one of my dearest friends, is a HBCU Hall of Famer, and he loves the fact that I constantly promote FAMU. He's it on my X account. FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, those are some of my favorite colleges because they have great football tradition. Some of the best tradition in the history of football is in the black conferences. Grambling, Eddie Robinson, all them guys. Tremendous. They just don't do enough recruiting. If you're telling me out of all those schools, not one black kid can play in the NFL, I don't agree with that. But yet you'll go to North Dakota State and you'll recruit a kid out of North Dakota State and say that guy can play in the NFL. Okay, well, I don't agree with that. I just think you got to get off your asses and go and recruit those black colleges. You're not getting great coaching there. Many of those kids don't want to leave home. Many of those kids don't have the same opportunities when you go to LSU or you go to Alabama. And so the schools are assuming that those places, and the NFL is assuming that those schools don't have good talent. I completely disagree with that. Terrell Owens absolutely was an HBCU. That's just the NFL being lazy and not getting off their asses and going in there and scouting those black colleges. Okay? Damn, Sills, talk that shit. Respect. Well, wait. This is about opportunity and what's right. You think those black colleges don't have great coaches too? You want to know why the National Football League doesn't have great assistant coaches? Because they don't do their work. They don't give opportunity. I got a kid that's coaching at, let's just say, Grambling or at FAMU or at Bethune-Cookman. He's been there 10 years. Why don't you go hire that guy, bring him into the NFL as a wide receiver coach or running back coach or an O-line coach? Bring that kid in and bring that man in so you can elevate him and teach him more and have greater players around him and see what that guy can do. You want to put more black head coaches in the NFL? Go to HBCU and hire some of those assistant coaches and put them in the NFL instead of sitting there hiring your white boys and your white friends. When you hire Kevin Patullo because he's your buddy and you're not giving opportunity to an African-American opportunity for a kid and a coach, you're defeating the purpose of the Rooney Rule. The Rooney Rule is not there for this. Well, I need to interview 3 black guys so I can hire my white buddy. That defeats what the Rooney Rule is. Are you trying to tell me you don't have good black coaches in this country? It's because you're not looking. You can't have 70% black guys in the NFL and you have 90% white coaches. That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. Then you sit there and talk to me about equality. My wife and I had this conversation the other day. Lovely Kim says this. I go, listen, I'm hiring on merit. She goes, it's institutional now. You can't change it. Because you're right. In one aspect, you're right. You want to hire on merit, but merit's out the window. You can't hire on merit. You know why? Because it's been institutionally damaged forever. Because you don't do anything on merit. Hey, that guy deserves a job over him. Well, that's a white guy talking. When you're a black guy, you don't get that opportunity. And if you're Brian Flores, if you fail once, you fail forever. I mean, I've said this before in the past about being a coach and being black. They're not gauged by the same rules white guys are. You've got to be better and you've got to do it right. Because if you don't, you'll never get a chance again. Ever. Guy like Matt Nagy will get another opportunity to coach in the NFL because he's a white guy. It's institutionally damaged forever. You could have all the Rooney rules you want. It just doesn't matter. The Rooney rule will never, ever fulfill its destiny of hiring great quality coaches. My favorite, I've said this before, I don't want a black guy as my coach. I want the right guy. However, that's not reality. Mike Tomlin's my favorite freaking coach because he calls everybody on blast. He don't give a shit who you are. Okay? But, again, you think that's a liberal point of view on hiring the right coaches? What does politics have to do with hiring the best coach for my player? I don't give a shit if it's a chick. I'm looking for the best person to coach my players. Okay? The best people I can. I don't want to go, well, I'm going to hire that guy on race. But you kind of have to today. Sills says, wait, I'm a California guy for thinking that you have to hire the right guy? If you think that it's not systematic now, you're out of your minds. Okay? Seals, what the F are you talking about? The NFL hosts its own HBCU specific combine to increase visibility for talent. Hey, Twiz, name me a guy that's been an HBCU guy that was drafted in the first round. And you don't get Travis Hunter because Travis Hunter went to Colorado at the end. Let me see here. Here, let me go. Hold on. What year was the last HBCU player drafted in the first round of the NFL draft? Camardi in 2008. 2008 is the last HBCU player drafted. Okay. Look at this. You sound like a white chick, Sells. A white chick? What's a white? What? So what I said, I sound like a white chick because I think there's injustices and hiring practices in the NFL. Well, that's too bad. You have the same notions about non-Power 5 schools. Talent will upgrade if they can go to a different school. Well, no, that's the difference right now. What's changed? You don't go to a HBCU school today if you're a black kid. You start there. You don't finish there because you know why? If I'm at Jackson State or FAMU and Auburn calls me and wants to pay me $700,000, no disrespect to the HBCU school, I'm leaving. Gotcha, man. All good. Heard a guy talking about, Nil said, image. Imagine winning a Super Bowl and then all the players can go where they want. Sills, thank you for the super. I love when you speak the truth. You nailed this one, Sills. Yeah, if you don't think that there's great quality coaches in the HBCU level, I know there are. I know many of them. Bernard Clark coaches at one of the HBCU schools. He was a teammate of mine, Tiger. And you know what he's constantly telling me? You know why Doug Williams quit coaching? I'll tell you exactly why Doug Williams quit coaching. So Kentucky called him and said, we have a great interest in hiring you as the head football coach of Kentucky. He called me that night. You know what he said? Boosters called the president of the university and said, we are not hiring a black coach at Kentucky. Doug Williams never coached again. Says I've had it. Says I had it. And that's why he's been an executive with the Washington Commanders. He just threw his hands up and said, I'll never get a chance to coach anywhere. Because they don't want a black face being the head of. By the way, how many black coaches are in the Southeastern Conference right now coaching college football? Does anybody know? Ask yourself this. How many black coaches are coaching in the Southeastern Conference football-wise right now? Anybody know? Anybody got a number? The number one conference in the United States of America. Hey, my friend, I know you don't like the topic. That's too damn bad. You don't like the topic because it's reality. There's 0 coaches in the SEC that are coaching football that are black. 0. That's 0. 2026. By the way, Doug Williams has been on this program. Hey, what'd you think? There were multiple coaches that were in the Southeastern Conference college football that were black? There's not one coach. I'm not even sure there's a black coach in the Big Ten coaching. I mean, most powerful conferences in America, and they don't do a good enough job in coaching. You don't think that, hey, Abe goes, I had no clue. That's what we do here, my friend. Think about that. The Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference have no black coaches coaching college football. You think that's normal? Seriously. You think that's normal? I don't. I certainly do not. Okay? I certainly do not think that's normal. So my wife is right. It's systematically embedded. So when you guys walk around like white guys going, hey, guess what? I want to hire on merit. Yeah, that's great and on Fantasy Island. In America, that don't work like that. All right, let me pay some bills here. My friends, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason is our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Over $30 billion recovered. Make no mistake about it. Family owned and family run. I mean, folks, this will be the easiest decision you make. I tell you about the family all the time in Pennsylvania that had a settlement for $650K. They ended up getting nearly $30 million. Or how about the family down in Florida, $350K? They ended up getting nearly $12 million in settlement. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound love 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound love 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Mm-hmm. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Howard Eskin's on tomorrow, by the way. And he's been saying that Hurts is a stiff for a long time. By the way, Steven says that Sileo's wife is the boss. I think you'd have to throw my kid in there too. Dude, I'm done. All the things that I've done in my past. I mean, I have to show pictures now to remind people that I once did things because I'm finished, man. My kid's the big star in the house now. Me, I'm just I just sit in a chair. and my wife is like, my wife did clean, and I think she said she did clean. She's 60 years old. And she's doing cleans because my kid's doing them now. So, yeah, my kid tells me this. My wife tells me that. All I do is sit. And by the way, this is how we do dinner. Sofa filler sills. Yes. So this is how I get fed on my dating day. By the way, it doesn't look like I've missed any meals. So just to keep score here. So every day, the most nervous times I get every single day is when I have to ask for, like, what's for dinner or what time is it? She'll go, when I cook it, and you'll eat whatever I cook. And for me, okay, I have to take it like, okay, so it's like being on a boat. there's one menu. So I know some of you are laughing. Yes, by the way, you would think that I would have a little more autonomy I have none. Okay? I have none in my house. But you see, my wife is smart because she cooks Italian food. So I can't really go off. She doesn't go off the reservation very much. So like there'll be some things because she's a great cook, by the way. I won't lie. But my kid gets a special gourmet meal made off the menu. She's like Eddie DeBartolo when he walks into a restaurant. Mr. D gets it off the menu. Me, I'm on the menu. Okay? So I'm happy with whatever I get. Seals open the DDP. Oh my God. So DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, text me about Zander. Diamond Dallas Page text me, and so did Goldberg. They texted me about 3 days ago. Diamond Dallas Page goes, "You never opened up the workout, did you?" And I go, "No." He goes, "Do you really want to be fat like that?" And I go, "Well, I'm kind of enjoying myself." He goes, "Dude, you're like one of our boys, man." So Diamond Dallas Page goes, "I want you to open this." So then he told Goldberg I didn't open it. And he goes like this, "Damn, Sills, you used to be one of the strongest people in America." And now I go, "Yeah, well, now I'm a Corona drinker." He goes, "You drink Coronas?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you do any workout anymore?" I go, "Absolutely none." He goes, "So you totally gave up?" I go, "Yep." After I blew out all my burster sacks in my elbow, I stopped doing it. I said, that's it. I'm out. I'm out. Okay? I'm out. My kid's the big weightlifter now. She jumps up on boxes and shit. She's really a great athlete. Actually, my old lady's a great athlete too. She'll bring Ian Beckles on the show. He's a man. I love Ian. Seals, you have a family. That's all that meant. Oh, absolutely. My kid's some superstar rugby player. More importantly, you know who she reminds me of? My kid? She's got a lot of Leroy Selman in her. And what I mean by that is I can't tell if she's a better athlete than she is human being because she's a great human being. She's just same thing I used to say about Leroy. You can't be that great and that great a person. It's completely impossible to be that great. She's a great person and a great athlete. Me, I was not a great person when I was younger. Well, the wife carried the kid. Yeah, well, that's true. You know what? When my kid was born, I thought I had been through a lot of injuries until I saw my kid born. Whew, I'll tell you what, man. I mean, they cut my wife with like hedge cutters, and they were like cutting hedges, and like they cut the cable like to the North American cable, that goes across the ocean. That thing was that. They cut that cable like that. I almost fainted. Get the dad. I did. I almost fainted. When my kid was being born, Dr. Weiss goes just like this. Grab the dad. Grab the dad. I was going down. Grab the dad. Grab the dad. But I won't lie. I was eating a sandwich when my kid was born. I was eating a sandwich when my kid was born, and they told me, "Let's go. We got to go." And yep, I was in the middle of a really good sandwich too. I think it was like 1:00 or 2:00 in the morning, and we're all sitting there. Got to put my sandwich up. Sure enough, I go in there, and all of a sudden, my wife, I had never seen my wife's hair so sweaty. And she looked at me, man, and I was like, "Holy shit." And when they pulled that kid out of my wife, they went like into like a well. This thing was down in a well. And they pulled that kid out. I couldn't believe it. I almost fainted. Grabbed the dad. Eating a sandwich with another guy. It's time to, he actually said this, game time. And I was like, game time for what? The kid's coming. I'm like, holy shit. Yep, I was in there for that thing. And she's been kicking my ass ever since. My wife was such a maniac, though. I'll tell you what she did. She had a blue pen with her. And I think she held this blue pen even when she was giving birth. And she said her last words before she passed out, mark the kid. We don't want to lose her. Like, what do you want me to do? Mark her foot? Make sure we don't lose her. Mark her foot. I'll never forget. It was a blue magic marker. Mark her foot. Do something. Don't let him out of there. That's a fact. Doing the best. Yes. Let's see here. Zander. He's Bronny James of JAKIB Media, and Big Sills is a bust. Hey, Dick Train. Bronny James? Bronny James is a nobody. Bronny James? Boy, man. Poor Zander. Zander's compared to a stiff. Bronny James. Oh, my God. Damn, dude. Dick Train compared Zander to Bronny James, who's playing in Grand Rapids tonight. Oh, my God. Look at that. Hey, get this. So Dick Train's got Zander as Bronny James. Bronny James scored 18 against Grand Rapids, and he's on his way to Waterloo to play against the Wahoos. Oh, my God. Playing against the Wahoos. I wonder if the Phillies will change their TV station via buying NBC Sports. Oh, they bought it? Is that right? I wonder if the Phillies will change their TV station via buying NBC Sports Philadelphia outright from Comcast, or switch to MLB like the other teams for their game distribution. They'll probably go to MLB.TV, which, by the way, it's being distributed now through ESPN. Yeah, Zander, you're the Bronny James of sports media. Holy cow. I'm sure Big Z really appreciates Dick Train coming to bat for him the way he did. Bronny James. Oh, my God. Bronny James. Sills is a bust. Zander's the Bronny James of JAKIB. My God. Oh, man. Just like Marshall. Some of them takes ain't that hot. So, what round do you think the Eagles draft a quarterback? What pick? Let me see. I'm going to make a prediction here. What are the Eagles' draft picks? Let's see. Here we go. Here's the Eagles' draft picks. They got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They got 9 picks for the 2026, and they got 2 picks in the top 100. Oh, 4 compensation picks and 2 picks. So they got 6 picks in the top 100. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4 picks in the top 100. So, hey, Sills, I hope to see you at the home opener in Philly. It would be amazing to chop it up with you, big man. Thank you very much. Big Z, how you doing? Thank you. Thank you. I wonder who they're going to open with. No Musmeyer. Hold on. Here's the quarterbacks I have. Garrett Nussmeier, LSU quarterback. Drew Allar, Penn State quarterback. Cole Payton, North Dakota State, the home of Carson Wentz. Who do the Eagles draft and with what pick? With the 137th player taken in the upcoming April 23rd NFL draft, with the 137th player taken. No, wait a minute. With the 114th player taken, 4th round, the Philadelphia Eagles take a quarterback. And I'm saying they take the Penn State quarterback. And I think he'll be there. And that's who they're going to draft. They're going to draft, I agree. They're going to draft him in the 4th round. I'm saying if they don't get him, they'll wait. He's available in 2nd or 3rd. That well was yellow taped around it. They're done with NDSU. North Dakota State. I can't see taking a late quarterback in this draft. Oh, I can. My money's on Altmaier in the 6th or 7th. No way. They're going to take a kid in the 4th round. By the way, if they took a quarterback in day 2, that's all you'll need to know. I think they could draft a quarterback in the 3rd round at 98. You imagine taking a quarterback in the 3rd round? That's all you need to know. You had the 54th pick. I was the 56th pick. I think Jalen Hurts was the 5th. Was Jalen the 54th pick? Let me see. Was Hurts the 54th pick? Ford versus Hurts. Let's see. $53rd. He was the 53rd player taken. I think this will be a Penn State takeover. Vega in the 1st, Allar and Singleton, Allar in the 4th, Payne undrafted. Penn State, I'll tell you what James Franklin did. James Franklin did a great job at bringing talent into Penn State. He just couldn't win. I think him at Virginia Tech is going to be a great fit because he's not going to have the expectations at Virginia Tech that he had at Penn State. And he's going to win a lot there. He could be like Frank Beamer there and win a ton of games. He doesn't have to win a national title at Virginia Tech. Penn State, hey, how about this? So they're going to put a statue up of James Franklin at Penn State. And they took Joe Paterno's down because of all that other stuff, and they never bring up the stuff with Joe Paterno. It's almost like they think Penn State football started like in 2000. Penn State football has not been the same since Joe Paterno left. It's nowhere close. I mean, when Paterno was at Penn State, they were a force. They were a power. They're not a power anymore. They're kind of good. They'll never be what they were because of the way Paterno recruited the Northeast and the way he recruited Philly and PA and Ohio. And all of what the school's problem is that they got away from all that. And I get it. The whole thing with Sandusky, there's no question about it. You don't forget that shit. Joe Paterno is not responsible for what happened with Jerry Sandusky. However, he's accountable. It was his program. All that shit happened under his watch. You're the main name on the marquee. I don't give a shit if you didn't know or not, or you lied that you didn't know. That's your program. Everything that runs through, he was more powerful than the governor of Pennsylvania. Anything that went on at that program, Joe Paterno is accountable for. Every single thing. One of his coaches is an asshole, that's on him. Illegal recruiting, that's on him. His name's on the marquee. Jerry Sandusky is the guy that did all that stuff with those kids, unfortunately, and is in the. Joe Paterno's accountable for that. All that shit happened under his watch. The good and the bad. Tremendous coach. Guy loved the hell out of me. I posted some of the greatest things that were ever said about me were by that guy, comparing me and Jerome to Matt Millen and Bruce Clark. Salt and pepper, too, he called it. All that's great. But at the end of the day, dude, Jerry Sandusky was in my house recruiting me. Hey, I'd love to have you come play at Penn State. You don't understand. Jerry Sandusky back then was considered the greatest defensive coordinator in all of college football. Just the greatest recruiter of all time. He was in my house recruiting me. When it come to Penn State, I'm like, I don't know. My grandfather thought he looked like my Uncle Bucky. Joe Paterno looked like my Uncle Bucky. All right, let me pay some bills here. Number one injury law firm in all of America is our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. They're number one because they win. This will be the easiest decision you ever make in your lives. My friends, make sure you do me a favor and check them out at forthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Law 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sill sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
We are working on Joe Theismann to cover the Washington Commanders this week. Also, Carl Banks from the New York Giants and Michael Irvin from the Dallas Cowboys. So we want to go into the NFC East and start looking at NFC East this week. So we're working on those guys. Howard Eskin's going to join us tomorrow, by the way. So we appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you. Please hit the like button on the way out. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.